Welcome back, Baker's Gold Nation. This week, we are answering the question, is Josh Allen the worst quarterback performer in the playoffs of anyone in the league? Is Curt Cignetti going to be the next head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers? Is LeBron ruining the Lakers organization from the inside out? And is Caleb Williams the quarterback you want to build your team around the most, even over Patrick Mahomes? Find out this episode, Week 13, Baker's Gold Podcast. Let's go!
FTP, welcome back, BG Nation. It is week 13, Epi 13, and we are back and better than ever. Truly, we are better than ever in a new studio. Oh my goodness, new studio. What do you think about it, Juwan?
I'm hyped. Roy truly clutched up. We're still at UIW, but as you can look around, we're a little official right now. We're on our own. It's just us two. We never thought we'd be at this place right now, especially at this point. We never thought anyone would support us at this point. So, big shout out, UIW.
Yes, sir.
Big shout out. You know her name more than me.
Yes, sir. Shout out to Professor Coronado, bro. Truly shout out Professor Coronado. She is honestly clutching up. Shout out UIW staff as a whole. Honestly, we could start it off right off the rip. Get it right into it. W of the week. You know, we're going back to what we had last week, but W of the week for this week. Like we said, UIW staff. The entire UIW staff, honestly. We've seen some young lads over here walking around, showing us some love, you know. And also, for sure, Professor Coronado. For sure, you know, Marcus, who helped me out the other day. Shout out Marcus. Shout out Professor Coronado. We love this room. We love the setup. Let us know what y'all think about it. Personally, you know, I'm loving it. Reminds me of a little, you know, back then, you know, we had the black background, little UTSA type of stew.
Yeah.
I'm hyped.
This is all ours, though. So, hopefully, fingers crossed, we don't mess it up. I mean, truly, at the end of the day, we could always mess it up. But we hope we don't. We hope we make UIW proud since they're the first to show us some real support. Never thought we'd be here. But let us know what y'all think. We're trying to get a bit more out here. So if you have suggestions on what we should put back there, you want to send anything in, show us some love. We're planning on getting some stuff back there now that it seems like we might have a semi-permanent studio, hopefully, for the foreseeable future, at least. But yeah. Big shout out UIW. For sure. I'll be positive this one time. I know last time I wanted to hate on everything. I'm truly finding on hating on something. You know what? One thing I do want to hate on.
What's up?
L of the week. Meteorologists. Okay. You know what? I hate meteorologists. Want to know why? We're in Texas. I'm sure right now everything's going on with the storm. Everyone's scared. They want to scare you. They truly want to scare you. They're trying to invoke fear into everyone, saying it's going to be a big winter storm going on. It's like 70 degrees right now. Folks, I told Roy bring 3 layers. Puffer jacket, quarter zip, QZ.
Yeah.
Quarter zip.
QZ,
quarter zip. Because I'm like, it's going to be cold. It's definitely be cold. It's 70 degrees out right now. It's like dang midnight right now. Midnight, and it's 70 degrees. There is no cold. I don't believe in the weather. Mother Nature can bite me at the end of the day. I mean, I'll say it right now. We're going to save it for later, but my mom begged me. She begged me not to come. She said, please don't go. Shout out, Mom. I love you, you know, looking out for my health, but I said, I got to go for the pod. Bro. FTP. I got to come in clutch. I got to make that episode. I will not do it virtual. And you know what? I was right. Because that weather can bite me at the end of the day.
All right, like off the rip, bro. Off the rip to say meteorologists or whatever you said, trash, garbage, unreliable, and insane to say. I personally think, totally off topic. Yes, we are a sports entertainment podcast. But totally off topic. I personally think meteorologists are there for our safety. They are predicting weather, which is totally unpredictable. Come on, especially in Texas. You know how weather be.
They're wrong, bro.
Truly weather be. You know, I'm not even going to start talking about it. Your top dog, Groundhog Day. He's out of there. He's truly out of there. Truly. And honestly, you got to be careful. You truly got to be careful. Meteorologists, they're there for us. They're trying to help us. If they're reliable or not, it's okay. Weather is unreliable, especially in Texas.
Look.
But shout out your mom, though. She's looking out for your safety. I like your dedication, though, my boy.
We're here at the.
I like your dedication.
I had to come to this, too. But look, as you mentioned, Groundhog Day, TC. Not to be confused with Teresa Coronado, other TC.
True, other TC.
From the state of Texas.
Yes, sir.
Truly, when I saw him fleeing the state, I got flashbacks. I truly got flashbacks.
Of course.
I really thought.
Yeah.
I thought we were in for a big one.
Exactly.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I truly don't think so either. But who knows? You know, that winter scare. What was it? 2021 back in the day. Texas Snowmageddon. Insane weather. You know what I mean? And our infrastructure was not ready for it. You know what I mean? But I truly don't think that's gonna happen again. You know, maybe some, you know, ice, you know what I mean? Be careful on the roads for sure if you, you know, live in, you know, areas with highways or just in general.
We're zooming.
Exactly.
I'm zooming.
I don't know about
I got to get back home.
Be careful on the roads. Be careful on the roads for sure, but stay safe out there, Texans, and just in general. I know there's like some insane snowstorms like up in the actual, you know, north of America. Insane snowstorms. Like I'm talking about like what did I see? Like -40, bro.
I don't believe it.
I mean,
Hoopla.
who knows? Who knows? You gotta
Hoopla.
be careful. All right, we'll see. We'll have to
I
wait
think
and
it's
see.
hoopla, but you know what? At the end of the day, I mean, I haven't survived it yet. I'm
Holy
still
moly.
here. I'm still here. I haven't made it back home safely. So,
Right, nah.
knock on wood. But
Wish our co-host safety on that.
truly, but I'm here for y'all. Again, I'm gonna say, weatherman, weather, Mother Nature, y'all can bite me.
Wow.
I'll keep testing you till my day is done. At the end of the day,
All right,
but we're here. We're here for the pod, like you said, rounding back out. We are sports entertainment at the end of the day.
we are.
So I just want to say, L of the week, meteorologist and Mother Nature. Y'all are wrong. Y'all are wrong on this one.
yeah.
Invoking fear.
Alrighty. Yep.
Truly. Someone said, people will be dying. Death everywhere. I saw that. I saw people saying that on TikTok. I hope not. Truly, I hope not.
Of course.
But look, invoking fear, I don't rock with
Of course.
that. I don't
Of
rock
course.
with that.
All right. Well, honestly,
I'll leave it there. I'll leave it there.
Insane ramble. But I know you wanted to get straight into these takes. I do too. I personally want to get straight into them as well. But let's hit it.
All right.
Yep.
First one is mine, and you know what's one I'm very passionate about? Not one I'm very proud to say.
Okay.
So, I'm talking about Josh Allen. I'm talking about quarterback of the Buffalo Bills, you know, Haley Steinfeld's husband.
Yep.
You know, I like Josh Allen. I like him a lot. I truly do. I really was hoping he was going to make a run and win the Super Bowl this year. I picked him to make it all the way to the Super Bowl. Unfortunately, he fell a little short, and you know what? He is sorry.
Wow.
Josh Allen is a sorry quarterback at the end of the day. Want to know why? He's still making the same mistakes he did when he was a young rookie quarterback. We give that respect. We give that little leverage to rookies.
Okay. Little Cam Newton.
Little Cam Newton.
Okay.
Not Josh Allen. Josh Allen, at the end of the day, you had the ball in your hands. You could have ended the game yourself by making a drive to at least get a field goal to win the game and go to the conference championship game against an unexperienced Patriots team. And you threw an interception. And you know what? Look, at the end of the day, truly, Brandon Cooks could have came down with that catch.
Okay.
He could have done his job as a receiver and came down. But at the same time, why are you throwing that ball up in that situation anyways? You don't need to be throwing that ball. And that is something that comes back to him he's been doing since the very beginning. So Josh Allen, I think he is sorry. I think that these mistakes have been made since his rookie season, since his second year. He's too old to be making these mistakes nowadays. Okay. A lot has been catered towards him. Again, this is a year that there was no Mahomes, there was no Lamar, whatever you say about Lamar, no Burrow, a lot of new quarterbacks in the mix. And they even changed the playoff rules just for Allen, just because that quarterback duel that happened between him and Mahomes. Yep. They changed the overtime rules for playoffs just for him, and he still lost in overtime against an unexperienced Broncos team. Yep. An unexperienced Broncos team. That's inexcusable. And whatever you say about Lamar gets probably the most playoff hate. I know you probably got that cooking up ready right now, but Allen, I think, deserves, you know what? I'm never going to say anyone deserves credit. You know what? No, he does deserve all the hate. He does. If I'm a Buffalo Bills fan, I am pissed, and I'm saying that's my franchise quarterback. You should be elevating it. You should not be throwing the game away with that long interception he threw in overtime. It's inexcusable. Truly, it's inexcusable at the end of the day, in my opinion.
Okay, look. I'm going to first off start talking about Allen is sorry. You have written right here. Allen is sorry than Lamar in the playoffs.
Yep.
So that's what you're sticking by. Allen is just in general the lesser QB than Lamar. So you think Lamar is better, obviously, right?
Look, Lamar in the playoffs has not been great. Okay. But as of recent seasons, I say the past maybe 2 seasons, he hasn't looked horrible. I don't think he's been the one to lose his team the games. Okay. The way Allen did here. I don't think so. I can pull up a stat right now. I might pull it up on my phone real quick. Okay, go ahead. But yeah, I don't think Lamar is a crazy playoff performer. I mean, that brings me to a different point that we'll get into right now. Right. But Allen is no better, if not worse than Lamar in the playoffs, in my opinion. Okay,
like off the rip, what I'm going to say is that I think to put a whole giant L on Josh Allen's back, saying that he cost Buffalo Bills the, entire season, their entire playoff chances, their Super Bowl hopes, is insane to say. Yeah, he's Superman. Yeah, they have, all their talent riding on him. Yeah, that's his talent. That's a talent. That's talent. Like we say with us, just joking around. Truly. But honestly, at the end of the day, it's a team game. Teams like the Broncos, are over here exceeding expectations because they have a pretty sound defense and a very solid offense, very balanced team. And honestly, in my opinion, they are one of the better teams because they are all around balanced. I think in general, it's a team game. And honestly, just to talk about it, very controversial, very, very controversial. But I think that Bills-Broncos game was pretty trashily reffed, in my opinion. I think a lot of PI calls definitely didn't go. No. They did not go Bills' way. they should have won. A lot of the calls, in my opinion, could have went the Bills' way, especially a lot of PI calls that weren't called, in my opinion. If y'all watch the game, shout out Bills fan. I'm really preaching for y'all here. But I think that's a controversial thing. But in my opinion, saying that Lamar Jackson is completely better than Josh Allen is pretty crazy to say. I think, in my opinion, they're on the same playing field. They're all on the same playing field. I think one quarterback that obviously, exceeds every, thing that we're talking about right now is obviously Mahomes. He defies the odds, sometimes.
All the
clutch
time.
factor. Exactly. Clutch
All the time.
factor.
Over and over again.
Exactly. Insane game from start to finish. No, silly interceptions like you see Josh Allen doing with the throw behind the line of scrimmage. What is it called? At halftime. Allowing for them to get through. Exactly. The lateral, allowing them to get 3 points. The Denver Broncos. And honestly, margins like that in a playoff game matter the most. You know what I'm saying? And just like Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson makes the same exact mistakes. We have the pick six against the Bills. We have silly interceptions against, different teams. I can't think off the head, but, Lamar Jackson's turnovers are definitely mostly on him. You know what I mean? And we see him getting into his own head, definitely in the playoffs, where honestly, in my opinion, it's the exact same with Josh Allen, which in my opinion, same exact playing field. And that's all I got to say about that.
I mean, the reason I'm bringing it up, obviously Lamar isn't a superstar playoff player. He's not really a playoff player.
Okay.
Obviously, he doesn't have that many wins. I think you'll bring up a stat with him and CJ Stroud here coming up soon. But
Yes,
look, I wanted to bring up this stat. The whole reason, I wanted to bring it up because look, Bills defense against the Broncos. Bills defense against the Broncos. That one game we watched last weekend,
right.
2 turnovers caused. Baltimore's defense and Lamar's 8 playoff games. Lamar's 8 playoff games have 2 turnovers combined over 8 playoff games.
Well,
So, you can bring up the team stats, say it's a team game. But at the end of the day, Lamar's defense is not helping them that much either in terms of creating turnover. That is a defense job. Stop the offense, get the ball back to your offense, but
Right.
also create turnovers. If you're an elite team, you will be creating turnovers.
Right.
And they're just not doing it. They're not doing it at all. Whereas Bills have done that for Josh Allen.
Of course.
They've helped him out. Again, you bring back the pick 6 against Lamar.
Yep.
I think they picked off Lamar twice the last time we played them in the playoffs with the drop on the 1-yard line.
Yep.
They are helping Josh Allen out as much as they can, whereas Lamar kind of has to put the team on his back every time. He feels that way. Again, he gets jittery in the playoffs, but his
Right.
defense is not helping him that much in the playoffs. And coaching as well. I want to bring back John Harbaugh.
Okay.
The coaching has not been great. We had the number 1 rushing defense when we played the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game,
Right.
and we ran the ball, 3, 4 times? That's horrible coaching. That is a horrible coaching decision to not run the ball, and it was a closed game throughout the whole game. They only ended up losing by about 7 points. They should have been running the ball the whole time. So at the end of the day, I think coaching and the defense not playing great, but mainly coaching, has hindered Lamar and made him take more of that load. That's what I think about that.
Right. And look, I'm not going to say that coaching isn't, a big factor. Coaching matters at the end of the day. Coaching does matter. But look, we have an MVP player, 2-time MVP in Lamar Jackson, right? And he can only put up 10 points and you're blaming it on coaching? In my opinion, no. You have a 2-time MVP. He's able to get this in the regular season, but he chokes in the playoffs. That is a personnel issue. That is Lamar Jackson not being able to, come up to the expectation of a Patrick Mahomes or, someone of that level, a Joe Shiesty, a Joe Burrow, able to truly, take down a Mahomes-esque player or a Mahomes-esque team, with elite coaching, Andy Reid, Steve Spagnuolo, and an elite level defense, obviously Mahomes. But honestly, like I said right here, you can't be a 2-time MVP, drop only 10 points, and blaming it on coaching.
I do blame it on coaching. I just said they only ran the ball 4 times.
Right. But
you want Lamar,
Okay.
no player, even if you're Mahomes, are you going to be just able to do it all yourself? You have to have a run game to scare the defense in the pass game. The run game opens up the pass game. So if you have no run game, they're not going to fear your passing. They're going to know to defend the pass every time. That's going to make it way harder on your player. I don't care who you have back there. We've seen Mahomes fold himself when he doesn't have O-lineman help.
O-line is different from run game.
Dude.
O-line, in my opinion, is different from run game. Chiefs aren't known for their run game. We know this for a fact.
But they'll still run the ball
Chiefs,
more than 4
to be honest,
times.
aren't even known for their passing game either. They're known for their creativity. They're
And
known
defense.
for their ability to really I agree.
Out-coach.
Coaching, yes.
Out-coach.
Out-coach. But you see Mahomes making clutch plays back and forth, limit turnovers. He doesn't make turnovers. You know that. Whenever he goes on these championship runs, very small turnovers. We don't have the exact stat, but I know he doesn't turn over the ball as much as Lamar. That's for sure. And in my opinion, to blame it completely on the coach is insane to say. Honestly, this kind of brings me into what I thought about the entire Ravens franchise. Not even trying to hate. Just a quick little statement on it. just insane to me that they kind of did John Harbaugh a little dirty. You know what I mean? They kind of let him go on, a very bad note. Mike Tomlin, they showed a lot of love because guess what? He won them a chip. He won them multiple winning seasons. Brought them to the playoffs. Brought them many chances. Obviously nothing crazy happened, but very respectable coach. And for them to do John Harbaugh like that is very insane for me. Very insane to me.
Look, Mike Tomlin is a better coach than John Harbaugh. He truly is. I think Mike Tomlin was a better head coach than John Harbaugh. Look, I personally thought that the Ravens would take the Steelers route and did what they did. Not just go out completely and fire him and say mutually parted ways.
Right.
He stepped down. That's a more honorable way to end your tenure rather than getting fired.
That.
I thought they would do that. So it kind of took me as a surprise. But you know what? I don't think we owe John Harbaugh that much.
And it was I agree. But just a quick interruption. It was disrespectful. You saw what they were doing. You saw what the owner was saying in the press conference.
It's tough. It's a tough sport. Football is a tough sport. So at the end of the day, if you can't handle that, that's fine. Look, you said John Harbaugh won us a Super Bowl in 2012. That shine only lasts so long. It's been about 14 years since we won a Super Bowl.
Okay.
I think personally, I told you, Lamar Jackson saved about 3-4 years of John Harbaugh's career. If John Harbaugh never had Lamar Jackson, if he had Joe Flacco, if he drafted Kenny Pickett, if he had another quarterback not named Lamar Jackson, he would not get bailed out as much as he did, and he would have been fired a long time ago. Okay. Steve Bisciotti said he would have only lasted one more week because he knows we probably would have lost to the Texans just as the Steelers did.
Right.
He was ready to be done with John Harbaugh. So were the Ravens fans. It got stale. His coaching decisions in the biggest games, again, I'll keep going back. I'm not over it to this day that we only ran the ball 4 times against the Chiefs in an AFC Championship game with the number 1 run defense is inexcusable. That's inexcusable, truly, at the end of the day. John Harbaugh, best of luck to him. I think he'll do great on the Giants, but for the Ravens, good. You did your job. You instilled a good culture. You got us a ring.
Yeah.
But besides that, I'm not going to give him much more respect. Not right now, at this time. Not at this time. It's still too new, too fresh to say, I'm going to give John Harbaugh the respect. Over time, it'll heal. But as of right now, it was an ugly breakup. It didn't have to be. We could have went the Steelers route, but Steve Bisciotti obviously runs it differently. Right. He runs a great organization. He does. He runs a great organization. Ravens are one of the greatest organizations, especially for how young they are.
They're young. One of the greatest organizations is very questionable.
They're probably like an A-tier organization in terms of like S through F.
They're better than the worst teams.
They're not a mid organization.
They're not a mid.
Look, S tier, I would say Patriots, Steelers, and maybe who else? Like Packers, Cowboys, Niners. That's like an S tier.
No, I understand.
But besides that, those are guys that go back to like the 50s, the 60s. The Ravens started in the 1990s, and they already have the best linebacker of all time in Ray Lewis. Say what you want about Justin Tucker, what he did. The best kicker of all time. One of, if not the best safety in all time, in Ed Reed. These are great draft picks. They got Haloti Ngata. They got Jonathan Ogden. They've got all-time great players in such a short amount of time. They have an MVP in Lamar. They have 2 rings. I mean, doing that in the 90s, in the state of the NFL right now, that means great organization. That is a great organization from top to bottom. So, however they decided to handle that, I'm not going to judge it. I think the Ravens know more than what they're doing than John Harbaugh does at the end of the day. The Ravens as a whole know what they're doing more than John Harbaugh does.
Okay. And truly, honestly, we will have to wait and see. We are going to talk about it later in the pod, but we have some new coaching hires. Ravens, I know they got a new coach. You could talk about it maybe later in the pod right now, depending on what you want. But honestly, in my personal opinion, I do agree with you. I'm not going to disagree with you here. I think the Ravens are a good organization, right?
Great.
It's a good organization.
Great.
You have organizations that troll. You have organizations that are in the dust right now. You have Jets. You have who else?
Browns.
Exactly.
I think Bengals are bottom feeders. Really.
Bengals, yes. Ownership. I've always stressed this across the last couple pods. Ownership is very important. I think ownership is where it starts. If it trickles down, it truly will trickle down. If you have bad ownership, you will have bad play at the NFL level. And I truly believe that ownership at the Ravens facility is good. It's
Top
good.
tier.
They draft good.
Top tier.
They have good teams. They always put out fair teams every year.
Like every year.
But in my personal opinion, the way they did John Harbaugh, the way you're blaming them because they ran only a couple times, their run game wasn't any good. Their run game wasn't any good.
It was
Lamar Jackson won because of his passing game. He won because of his touchdown to interception ratio. That's the only reason he won the MVP.
Top rush defense in the league that year. You cannot say that. It was a top rush defense. No, rush offense, I mean. It was a top rush offense league in that year in the league. It was. So to say we didn't have a good run game.
Yes, and do you truly believe that Harbaugh and the entire coaching staff would have been like, all right, bro, we're not going to run this game? No.
They did.
They got stopped. They got outcoached. They got outplayed.
Runs.
Their run defense, the run defense of the Chiefs destroyed their They scored 10 points, and that's not because of coaching.
You can't develop a run game off 4 freaking runs. That's got to be something that goes across the entire game. And it's not like we were down. We were down the entire game, but not by like 2+ touchdowns. It was a 7 touchdown game. The whole game.
Exactly.
It could have been one even towards the end.
Exactly. It was a close game. But guess what? Key turnovers. Lamar Jackson not being clutch sold them the game.
Zay Flowers fumbling on the 1 yard line. Stuff like that.
Call it what you want.
Stuff like that. It wasn't even on Lamar. Same thing against the Bills. He had some early turnovers. Lamar did early turnovers.
Yeah.
But he drove us down the field, and we should have tied that game. And then a Mark Andrews drop on the 1 yard line, an uncharacteristic drop. That was not on him. Same thing with Mark Andrews earlier in that same drive. People forget about that one. It's not on Lamar.
Exactly. So how is this on John Harbaugh?
That is not that loss was not on John Harbaugh, but I'm going back to the AFC Championship game. So for the most part, they have been Lamar. Early in his career, it was pretty much all on Lamar. But as of late, it hasn't been. Whereas of late, Josh Allen does sell his team, and we just saw it. I'm going back to Josh Allen.
Right.
He just sold his team. That's what I was trying to talk about. Do I want to say Lamar is a better playoff performer than Josh Allen?
Okay.
No, I want to say they're probably about equal. And that Josh Allen, at this point in his career, and this opportunity with how the field was looking, should have won that game for them. Instead, he went out and lost it himself. By himself. Josh Allen lost that game by himself for his team. Truly, they did. They did.
Okay, look.
He did.
I watched the game. Fans, if you watch the game too, we can agree right here. Josh Allen did sell at the halftime. He sold with the 3 points. At the end of the day, the Bills' defense let up 30-plus points. That is unacceptable in a playoff game. You're not going to win a playoff game in a shootout. The past couple years, Josh Allen has repeatedly put up 30-plus points, 25-plus points in playoff games against high-level defenses, Steve Spagnuolo coach defenses, insanely coached defenses, Broncos coach defense, Sean Payton, very good coach, very well-coached defense. And honestly, to blame it completely on Josh Allen when he's over here putting up 25-plus points. No excuses, by the way. No wide receiver excuses last year. No wide receiver excuses the year before that. I know he has Stephon Diggs, but that was, whole diva situation. Truly not that good.
He was great. He was great on the Bills.
In my opinion, we cannot blame Josh Allen when he's over here producing 25-plus points in each playoff stint. Whenever they lose, we can't blame him. We truly can't blame him. It's a defense thing. It's a team game, as I say.
In the biggest moments, he is losing them the game, though. He is losing them the game. The defense is still giving him the chance to go out there. He could have won that game himself. He could have won the game without the Broncos ever touching the ball again. Yes. And he turned it over. He should know by now. He's been in enough playoff games to know he can't be making passes like that. He can't be putting the ball in harm's way like that.
Right. No, I agree with you. To say that he makes mistakes, okay. What quarterback doesn't? Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson makes plenty of mistakes. He has lost his team multiple times. Like, by the way, I keep bringing back to the 2023, I believe, AFC Championship game against the Chiefs. 10 points dropped, 17 points. The defense, the number one defense, by the way, in the season, stepped up, brought Mahomes and the Chiefs' offense, Andy Reid-led offense, to only 17 points, where, the Ravens weren't able to do anything. Their defense showed up, in my opinion, number one defense in the league that year, the Ravens. And honestly, Lamar Jackson and the offense sold them. So to personally say, yes, you're right. They're on the same level. Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson are personally on the same level, in my opinion. And honestly, I think their careers are going to go the exact same way. No rings, just regular season accomplishments. And that's all I got to say about that.
Look, my final thing on that, I'm going to go back to it. Lamar Jackson, the offense, sold them the game? No. Lamar Jackson did not sell that game. That was down to coaching. We had probably a top 3 coach in the NFL this year on our defensive side, coaching our defensive side of the ball, Mike McDonald. He was our defensive coordinator that year. Should have kept him. But yeah, he stepped up. That defense played good that year and held Mahomes to only 17 points.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like I'm saying, it's going to be on the offense, not on Lamar.
Yes.
Not on Lamar.
Okay.
Because they had a horrible game plan and didn't run the ball. You can't win a game against anyone. You can't win the game against the dang Browns if you're running the ball 4 times a game. You cannot. So that was just complete malpractice, and that's the reason why I'm happy that John Harbaugh is gone. But that's what I'll finish that on.
No. Look, you can finish that on right there. Personally, what I'm going to say off the rip, I know you're going to respond to this. That's why I'm going to say this. You're going to say John Harbaugh was, okay, get him out of there. Lamar Jackson, you're saying it's all on Lamar Jackson. Okay, all of the troubles are on John Harbaugh for not, maybe making a caster on Lamar Jackson, maybe leaving it all on Lamar Jackson, right? You're saying they left it all on Lamar Jackson, right?
The game plan was just bad. I mean, anyone running the ball
It's a personnel issue.
Anyone running the ball 4 times when you have the best rushing offense in the league is a bad game plan.
It was the one game against the Chiefs who went on an insane run and outcoached, outplayed, and just destroyed the Ravens. That's it. And I'm going to say all this because I have this right here. John Harbaugh, yes, wanted Puka Nacua bad. Yes, reported bad. But guess what? Ownership went against his wishes. So, yes, I'm saying, okay, you might trust the ownership of the Ravens right now, but in my opinion, it's shaky. You truly can't trust a young ownership like this. Yes, they made some cool draft picks.
Some of the best of all time.
They got lucky. In my opinion, they got lucky. I talk about this.
Drafting Ray Lewis.
I talked about this the previous episode. They got super lucky in drafting 2-time MVP Lamar Jackson. I think them disrespecting and letting go of John Harbaugh is insane to me. Him wanting Puka Nacua back when he got drafted in 2023, whenever he had an insane Rookie of the Year season, is insanity. I know you wanted to say some things about Puka and what he had planned basically with the Ravens.
2 things about this.
Okay.
Any freaking NFL head coach can go back and say whatever they want now. Am I calling John Harbaugh a capper? Maybe any head coach can go back and go say, maybe Stefanski can say, oh yeah, I definitely want Puka Nacua. Probably at some point, every freaking coach was like, yeah, I might want to draft Puka Nacua.
That's different.
Look,
that's different.
Look, there's one thing between wanting a player and actually getting him. Look, I'm not saying he's a capper, but he might be. But at the end of the day, even if we did have Puka Nacua, we as the Ravens, I don't think he would have even got any playing time on the Ravens because our offensive staff, our wide receiver staff and development has been historically horrible. The Ravens' best receiver of all time is Zay Flowers. The Ravens' best receiver of all time is Zay Flowers, and he's like a wide receiver 2. Before him, our best receiver was Hollywood Brown, who's shown to be like a wide receiver 2 slot type of player. We're not good at drafting wide receivers. We're not good at developing wide receivers. I mentioned Roy. I'll give props to the Steelers. They're one of the best at getting receiver talent and developing them. If Puka went to the Steelers, he'd probably be just as good, if not better, than he is right now. But if Puka went to the Ravens, he'd probably never play. He'd probably never develop. And he'd probably just stay as a special teams guy his whole entire career. We'd admire the grit that he has, but he would never showed out the way he did on the Rams. So even if we drafted Puka, he would have never played. He would have never played for us or become a star that he is today, truly. And I love Lamar. Lamar could have made him good. Like, we had him now, knowing what we know, but he would have never developed under the Ravens system. That's just how we ran things, and hopefully it does change, but as of right now, I don't think he would have done anything on the Ravens.
That's insane to say, insane hypothetical. Personally, I think Puka's success does come from a offensive-led scheme, yes. It comes from a Matthew Stafford MVP type of quarterback, MVP-level quarterback. Lamar Jackson, like we already said, MVP level quarterback. I personally think it translates. I think if you give Puka a chance at the Ravens, like I said, he was given a chance at the Rams. He wasn't some sought after wide receiver, right? He wasn't someone saying, okay, we need to plug this guy in immediately in the offense. No, he showed out. He got a Cooper Kupp injury. Okay, you give Puka some tries. Look, he balls out. I think the same thing happens to the Ravens. I think it happens even quicker, in my opinion. No. I think the Ravens' trash wide receiver group absolutely makes Puka shine insanely. It makes him the number 1 target for Lamar Jackson. But guess what? Ownership denied him. Yes. John Harbaugh, yes, I agree with you. Coaches say things after they get fired, maybe. But guess what? This was confirmed. Ownership denied and went against Harbaugh's wishes. And honestly, it's insane to say. Truly, Puka Nacua, yes, under the radar. BYU wide receiver, nothing crazy. But to see his progression, it would have been an insane hypothetical for him to be on the Ravens. And honestly, it would have been scary hours for the Steelers.
I'm happy Puka Nacua did not get drafted by the Ravens. He would have never became what he is today. I like watching Puka. I think as a receiver, as a pure receiver in terms of hands, he probably has the best hands in the league. It reminds me of Larry Fitzgerald, truly, in terms of pure hands and what he does after the catch as well.
Right.
But he's playing for the best, in my opinion, the best coach in the NFL today in Sean McVay. Yep. I think he's an offensive genius, a mastermind. I think he might be, if he wins Super Bowl this year, a lock for the Hall of Fame as a head coach. Wow. At the age of 40. Right. At the age of 40, I think Sean McVay is a lock for Hall of Fame if he wins one more Super Bowl, in my opinion. But look, we would not have developed him like that. He made Cooper Kupp a Triple Crown King, and that's not trying to slight Cooper Kupp at all, but Cooper Kupp, Triple Crown King, that is the culmination of the system that the Rams run. I'm not saying he's a system wide receiver. He's definitely talented. He's been hindered by injuries, but
Right.
I mean, we see him on the Seahawks. He's not the same player. He's
Injuries.
not the same player.
Injuries.
But I mean, I think it's just a system of playing with Matthew Stafford, an all-time great quarterback. I think if he wins one ring, he might be a top 10 quarterback of all time, in my opinion.
Right.
And Sean McVay
Right.
is a Hall of Fame head coach. I don't think John Harbaugh is a Hall of Fame head coach. I don't.
Wow.
I really don't. But Sean McVay will definitely be a Hall of Fame head coach, in my opinion. So I'm happy the Ravens didn't draft Puka Nacua at the end of the day. We would have ruined him.
Right.
He would not have done what he did today, and he probably would have ended up as a special teamer for us, in my opinion. My opinion.
Look, off the rip, just responding to what you said, to say John Harbaugh isn't a Hall of Fame coach compared to Sean McVay, insane hypothetical. I think Sean McVay hasn't had the longevity that Harbaugh's had. He hasn't had the success that
He's
Harbaugh's
had more success. Look, he's had more success.
He's gone to one Super Bowl.
He has a Super Bowl ring, same as Harbaugh,
Right.
and he's been to 2. At the age of 40, he's been to
Right.
2, and he won 1. So he's matched in rings. He has more conference championships than John Harbaugh did, and John Harbaugh is like 60 years old, one of the older head coaches in the NFL. And I just think he's a better head coach, especially in this era of the NFL. He's a mastermind. So I think he's definitely a better head coach all time right now than John Harbaugh.
No, I love myself some Sean McVay. I love his offense. I love watching it. I think, honestly, I have nothing else to say about this. I personally, just to end it off, it's insane for me to hear that if the Ravens drafted Puka Nacua, they wouldn't get the same production out of him as they had on the Rams. It's pretty crazy to say. Honestly, that's all I had to say about that. But honestly, anything else?
Not really. I mean, we can move it on to after that. I mean, you had something right after that if you want to read right after that, but I'm glad Puka's in the Rams. He would not have done the same thing on the Ravens,
and
in
honestly,
my opinion.
Right. Just to kind of bring it back, and I know we went crazy off topic, but off the rip, you said that Josh Allen was less of a performer, just an overall less of a quarterback than Lamar Jackson. And honestly, just to bring it straight back, end it off on this, I personally think it is a team game. The NFL is a team game. The pros, every pro league, it's a team game. And right here, this just shows it right here. I want to hear your response on this. CJ Stroud has 3 playoff wins in 3 seasons, while Lamar has 3 playoff wins in 8 seasons. So how can you put an entire franchises losing, like a Josh Allen, him losing these crazy shootouts against a Chiefs-led team? How can you say that while Lamar Jackson is not producing as much as CJ Stroud in three seasons as we see right here?
Neither of them have won a Super Bowl. Look,
exactly.
At the end of the day, I'm not going to come out here and clamor that Lamar Jackson is a crazy playoff performer. I'm not. I'm going to say the last recent couple losses haven't been on him because I don't think they are. Whereas, CJ Stroud, we just saw what he did. We just saw what our boy did. He threw 4 interceptions with 3 or 4. 4, right?
I think it was 4.
4 turnovers.
4 turnovers for sure.
4 turnovers in a playoff game. Are you kidding me? All you got to do is literally not turn the ball over and put up field goals, and you probably win that game. Right. CJ Stroud single-handedly loses these games. He's still young. He can develop. But in my opinion, every quarterback out there, besides Patrick Mahomes and maybe like Matthew Stafford at this point, is garbage. They're all garbage. They're all horrible playoff performers. CJ Stroud looked like Nathan Peterman out there when he played. Lamar, I'm not giving him a pass either. Lamar hasn't looked the best, but I don't think the recent playoffs hasn't been on him. But he hasn't looked the best in the playoffs. Josh Allen just lost in the game. Jordan Love hasn't won that many games either. Right. He's not a crazy playoff performer. All these quarterbacks across the league are not winning these playoff games. The only ones that are winning, truly, is Matthew Stafford and Patrick Mahomes. And, that just means Mahomes is a different league than anyone else. Even though he's not in the playoffs this year, I don't care. Mahomes is S tier, whereas in terms of the playoffs, every other quarterback is B or below. There's a whole entire tier between Mahomes and pretty much every other quarterback in the same class, such as Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen. Maybe Joe Burrow, if he ever stayed healthy, could be in that A tier in between that. But he's never healthy, so we'll probably never see it again, in my opinion.
Right.
In my opinion.
No, okay. I get what you're saying. And honestly, I personally think, right here.
You can agree. You can agree with me. It's not a bad take to say.
Look, it's not a bad take to say. It's truly not. But I'm going to say right here, I think football, NFL football, professional football, at the end of the day, I'm going to keep riding with it. It's a team game. I think these quarterbacks, like you said, Matthew Stafford, Patrick Mahomes, these quarterbacks that are crazy, that win their games for their team. We're not saying Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson don't win games for their team, Joe Burrow. But in the playoffs, these clutch players that perform like that is unique. That is one of a kind. I personally think that NFL is a team game. It's an balanced defense game. And this honestly stat right here, I want to tell this to you right now.
Go ahead.
Right here we got, if Sam Darnold wins the Super Bowl this year, right here. Okay, let's get it started. If Sam Darnold wins the Super Bowl this year, he is the best quarterback in the 2018 draft class, which had Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, and Lamar Jackson. And yeah, rub your head all you want, but guess what? I think Sam Darnold plays a sound offensive game, just like, we're going to actually talk about it in a bit, just like some other players, just like some other quarterbacks in the league, that in my opinion, these quarterbacks that make their offense balanced, limit turnovers, even though, Sam Darnold isn't the best quarterback off the rip, off the stat sheet, but guess what? He leads his team, he leads his defense off the field. They don't stay on the field the entire game, you get me? Like a Lamar Jackson 2023 playoff game. They don't make the defense, play the entire game while the offense is over here doing 3-and-outs, turnovers, disrespecting the defense's help. And honestly, I'm going to stay with this. Sam Darnold will be the best quarterback if he wins the Super Bowl this year. And yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
Get out of here, dude. Like, straight up, get out of here. If you put Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, or Lamar Jackson, any of them in that system where the Sam Darnold is right now, they all win a Super Bowl easily. They win by more than 50 points every time. I'm dead serious.
That's
serious.
Insane to say, bro.
I just trashed on these quarterbacks for not being playoff quarterbacks. They can be game managers. They truly can be game managers. Okay. If they ran the ball, like if Lamar Jackson just all had to do is hand the ball off to K9.
No,
so
you're saying K9 is different from Derrick Henry, my boy? No, guess what? Derrick Henry is one of the best rushers of our generation, and guess who he has? Lamar Jackson in the Ravens defense. Number 1 defense in the league, multiple years.
Last year, the Ravens defense was not as good. The only Ravens defense that was similar to the Seahawks defense right now is, again, the Mike McDonald coach defense of 2023. And yeah, they did their job, but coaching did not, because they did not run. I don't want to go back in circles. Again, we've been over this a million times, right? But, I mean, Mike McDonald right now is a better head coach than John Harbaugh. I wish we kept him. Right now, he's a better head coach. I wish we would have kept McDonald. I wish we would have promoted Harbaugh to like an executive role and kept McDonald, out of respect. Truly,
I can see why.
I thought we would have done that, but we let him walk. Big mistake. Sam Darnold is not a better quarterback than Josh Allen just because he wins the ring.
Not yet. Just because he wins the ring. Yes.
No, there's no shot. There's quarterbacks that win rings that are not better than these all-time quarterbacks.
But guess what? They're not better because what? Because they show out in the regular season?
Yes, they're better quarterbacks.
Is that true? What we're going off of now? We're truly going off of regular season quarterback stats.
Look,
like my boy, if a quarterback clutches up in the playoffs, okay, if they have a mediocre regular season, whatever, right? They're getting used to their team.
Eli Manning.
They're getting teams half wins, maybe some mediocre wins.
Eli Manning.
But guess what? Exactly. They get their team a Super Bowl, the most sought-after thing, which quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, all-time historic quarterbacks, which I can't list off my head right now, but they can get their team a Super Bowl. Yes, it's a team game, but guess what? These quarterbacks have a sound offense. We've seen it this past weekend. You can have one of the best defenses in the league in the Houston Texans, but guess what? Your offense still sells you. And honestly, we see it in every case throughout the years. Like you said, we don't want to go back. We saw it with Lamar Jackson in the number 1 defense in 2023. We've seen it, in other years I can't even name. But truly, I don't even know what you're trying to say.
Look, yes, I can say the 2026 Seahawks are a better team than the 2026 Bills. The 2026 Seahawks are better than the 2025 Ravens. I can say that, but I can't say that Sam Darnold himself is a better quarterback than Lamar.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying he is a better winning quarterback. He wins the game better than Lamar. Lamar is a regular season quarterback. He never shows out in the playoffs. And to see Sam Darnold with this type of success, yes, it's a team game. I already said this. But guess what? He's able to lead his team as well to, produce offensive points to get past the defense, to get past the other team. And we already talked about this. Lamar Jackson has sold his team. Players like Josh Allen have sold their team to where they can't play sound offense and get points on the board.
Look, truly, Sam Darnold's not winning the Super Bowl. I'm sorry to say it. Sam Darnold's going to lose to the Rams this weekend. They're not going to win the Super Bowl, and it's probably going to be because of Sam Darnold. We're about to see this weekend. The Seahawks are going to lose to the Rams, so I don't even want to entertain this silly, crazy take that Sam Darnold's a better quarterback because they're going to lose, and most likely it's going to be because the game will be on Sam Darnold, and he's going to fold. Once he finally put the game on him, he is going to fold. So I'm not going to entertain that, really, truly. I'll even put it on there. If Sam Darnold wins the Super Bowl, I'll buy his Seahawks jersey, and I'll wear like five episodes in a row without washing it. Without washing it. 5 weeks in a row, Sam Darnold jersey without washing it.
To be fair, you would enjoy that. You like to smell. We're like, pod, if y'all are true OGs, y'all know our co-host Joanne loves to smell stinky. Okay, that's OD. Poor TC. But honestly, look, real talk, you love to smell. You would love that. But honestly, just to get back to what we're talking about, honestly, you're saying right now that the NFL is basically an offensive game.
No.
Is that what you're saying?
No. I'm not. I'm saying the opposite. I'm about to say it.
Go for it.
NFL is not an offensive game. People want to come out here and say you want a Cliff Kingsbury, you want a Shanahan, you want a McVay. And you know what? I think McVay is the best coach in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
I think he is. I think the NFL is a defensive game, though. I truly think the NFL is a defensive game at the end of the day. I do. And, I mean, just look at the last 3 of the 4 playoff teams in the NFL right now. The Denver Broncos, an amazing defense. If they make the Super Bowl, it's going to be because of their defense, not because of Jared Stidham. The Patriots, I don't think Drake May has had a crazy playoff run. He hasn't. Nope. He had a good regular season in the MVP talks, but they're in the playoffs and they're winning because of their defense. The Texans, if they would have made the Super Bowl and won, it was going to be all because of their defense. Seahawks, same thing. Not going to be because of Darnold. It's going to be because of their defense. The only team that really stands out is the Sean McVay-led LA Rams at the end of the day.
Number one offense, yeah.
Everyone wants to say the NFL is an offensive league. You need a young offensive guy. The Ravens just hired Mincer. Yep. They just got him.
Jesse Mincer?
Yeah.
Yep.
So they just got him, and he's a defensive guy. And I'm pretty happy about it because I really truly think at the end of the day, football is a defensive game. It has been since the beginning. There's a little offensive renaissance in the middle, but even those Patrick Mahomes teams, they had elite defenses with Steve Spagnuolo. Right. The NFL has never been an offensive game. It is not currently an offensive game. It has always been and always will be a defensive game at the end of the day, in my opinion.
No. That's a good take. It's a fair take. But I personally think the complete opposite. I feel like offensive game in recent times is what's going to win you games. Look, I'll say right here, having an unbalanced team where you have a bad offense or a bad defense and a good offense, that's not going to win you a chip. That's simply not going to win you a chip. At the end of the day, yes, the Rams have a number one offense in the league in general. But guess what? Their defense is pretty damn good at the end of the day. It's pretty damn good. It's above average. And so you need both. I'm going back to what I said. I'm going to stay on it. Team game is what you need. But in my opinion, like you said, you have coaches like Sean McVay. You have other coaches, in that tree that are really, expressing their offensive. Exactly. They're successful, especially in the recent years. I mean, you see the offensive game, and you see Sean McVay's success. Like you said, he's a Hall of Fame quarterback at 40 years old.
Coach.
That is not just because, he has a trash scheme. He has a good offensive scheme that is able to outmatch these defensive coaches. And honestly, I think offensive is truly the name of the game in these next coming years. And honestly, just to show a little bias with the Pittsburgh Steelers, I kind of want an offensive coordinator type of coach. I want an offensive-led coach that really will excel our offense. I already talked about it. I don't know, man. We need it.
Mike McDaniel?
We need it, though.
You want Mike McDaniel?
No. We're not. We already. I don't know if you heard about it, but he's basically in talks for the Chargers.
Oh, he's in the Chargers. True. Cliff Kingsbury?
I wouldn't mind it. Look, what I'm trying to say is that I think the Steelers. I know we got some love. We got some love and hate on that last epi, but about this take. But personally, I think the Steelers' offense is very close. Or the Steelers' overall team. I think their defense, might not be the most capable, but we're seeing teams where, like the Rams, they have an above-average defense, but their offense is insane. Not insane, but it's able to score points. 25-plus points is all you need. I think if you're not able to score 25-plus points in this modern era, you're not going to win a playoff game. Simple as that.
Dude, the Patriots, their offense hasn't been scoring points.
Of course.
Their offense has not been scoring points. They're probably about to make the Super Bowl themselves. They're about to make the Super Bowl themselves.
CJ Stroud, insane.
Sell
job moment, 4 turnovers, insane offensive
defense,
L.
The defense.
No, that is an offensive problem. CJ Stroud sold, and honestly, they had Nico Collins. They didn't have Nico Collins because of an offensive.
Mr. Velcro.
Yes, he had a concussion, and honestly, to say exactly, I'm proving it right there. CJ Stroud, no Nico Collins, no Tank Dell either. Trash O-line. They stepped up that game, but offensive game. That game, at least, sold them. And honestly, that proves my point, in my opinion, that the offensive game is needed in this modern era to win games. We saw the Patriots go for, how many points did they have? Let's see right here.
The last game. I
They
truly
had 28 points. Like I said, they need 25 plus points in this modern era to win. You can't put up 25 plus points with a trash offense.
They could have put up 20 points and still won.
That's how bad the Texans did. They got some turnovers.
The
they got some pick
defense,
sixes.
dude, the defense won them that game.
They get you turnovers. They get your opportunity. They get your offense more opportunities. But if your offense isn't able to capitalize on that, then you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose.
If your offense if your quarterback's out there turning the ball over 4 times, that's an outlier.
It's like Lamar Jackson. That's like a Josh Allen. You have quarterbacks that are selling it. That's why my personal opinion. Let's throw it back. My personal opinion: Sam Darnold is better if he goes on to win a Super Bowl. If he limits his turnovers, if he capitalizes off the defense's ability to win games, then yes, he is the better quarterback. Throw it back to Eli Manning. Yes, I know you want to talk about it, but personally, my personal opinion on this is that these quarterbacks are better because they're able to be a field general, be able to handle an entire football game, be able to take these turnovers that the defense gives them, or just three and outs, and capitalize on them, get points off them, whether it be field goals or full touchdowns. You know what I mean?
Sam Darnold is not winning the Super Bowl. I'm going to go back to it. He's
see.
not going to win the Super Bowl. We've seen one playoff game out of him where the defense demolished a very, very injured Niners. And you know what that brings me to? That brings me to like probably my last point we have here.
Yeah.
I think that whoever wins the Super Bowl, no matter who it is, I mean, the Rams, I think, have a good team. But whoever wins the Super Bowl, if it's the Patriots, the Seahawks, the Broncos, it's going to be the worst Super Bowl winner we've seen since that Eli Manning-led team that won against the Patriots in 2012. In my opinion, I think this is just a down year for the NFL, in my opinion. I truly think it's a down year for the NFL. I think any of these squads that we have, the Final Four, especially like the Patriots, especially like the Seahawks, would have gotten ran down by these Mahomes teams these last couple of years, would have lost to the Eagles last year. These teams would not be able to compete with the last couple of seasons. That's why it was really Allen's chance. This is a down year for the NFL, in my opinion, when it comes to talent and the teams left in there. In my opinion, I think whoever wins will be the worst Super Bowl winner we've seen in a long, long time.
Okay, and I think you're looking at it from a lens of a quarterback. I think you're seeing, these quarterbacks, these offenses are truly not the most spectacular. They're not the most crazy. I know you showed love. Exactly. You showed love to Matthew Stafford, but even then you said, Jarrett Stidham, obviously the Broncos, you have Jerick May, you have, who's the quarterback? Sam Darnold. Exactly.
Trash.
Not the most standout quarterbacks, but guess what? They win games. They've gotten up to this point. They got into Lamar Jackson's level where he is a 2-time MVP winner. They've gotten to Josh Allen's level where they win quarterbacks. They win MVPs in the regular season. They show out in the regular season. They get these crazy stats, but guess what? They don't win pure playoff games, which is what the NFL is truly about. The NFL is about the ring. And at the end of the day, just to go back to what you were saying, that what was the stat exactly that you were saying? The quarterback or the championship? How far does it go back?
Which one?
You said 2016? Is that what you said?
Oh, what, Eli Manning's?
Yes,
2012.
2012, my fault. 2012, I think that is untrue. I think we have Nick Foles winning in Philly in 2018 is an exact representation of what I'm saying. Are we saying Nick Foles is on the similar level as these top-tier quarterbacks as Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson? No.
Neither Sam Darnold.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. But guess what? I think they are the better quarterbacks because guess what? They can win these big games. And don't say that John Harbaugh isn't capable of it or your quarterback or your coach isn't capable of it or it's a coaching issue, yada, yada, yada. They have won championships before. You know what I'm trying to say? They've won seasons before. They got into these points. They've shown their expertise. They got into the AFC Championship before, the NFC Championship before. These coaches that truly haven't had the best quarterback, they still show some winning success.
Coaching.
True.
Coaching at the end of the day.
Exactly.
Coaching team.
But how are we going to disrespect coaches like John Harbaugh or Mike Tomlin, coaches who, don't win all the rings, especially in recent years, whenever they don't have the best quarterback. You know what I'm trying to say?
They were good coaches for the time. They're not good coaches now.
Okay.
They're good coaches for the time. They have not adapted with the time. It is a different time in the NFL, and they have not adapted with the times, in my opinion.
Okay.
I truly don't have too much more to say about the NFL at the end of the day. I mean, we just kind of went straight.
Truly.
Do you have last? I know you had some other stuff on there. We can go ahead and go on it as well if you did want to go on that.
Honestly, we can. Honestly, I just kind of wanted to glaze on some Steelers talk.
Okay.
We've been talking about so much trade talk, so much coaching talks, We have a lot of head coaching carousels right now, our head coaching carousel right now at the moment. We have 8 head coaching positions open or something like that, 7, 8, something like that. You said 6, 7. They're getting filled. They're getting filled. We have Ravens already getting filled. We have a couple other ones getting filled.
Falcons, Stefanski. It's going to be good.
Yeah, exactly. That's going to be interesting to see. Shout out Falcons fans. We'll see, man. But my personal opinion, we have Steelers still needing a coaching position. Give me. Like, oh my gosh, this is insane to say.
Steelers have no one to pick. There's no coach left out there for the Steelers to get, in my opinion.
We're interviewing defensive coordinators from the Dolphins, from...
no names.
I don't even know, man.
No names.
I don't even know. Maybe they got some... maybe they showed some success this season, but personally, look, right here, I got it written down. Give me Kurt Cignetti to the Steelers as a head coach. I think he is a winning... He's a winning coach. As he said in the press conference, he wins. He brings talent. He gets dubs. And I personally think if he were to go to the Steelers, I think he will bring that winning culture over to the NFL and start getting the Steelers some dubs. I think the Steelers always hit it right on the nail with head coaches, and I think he could be tenured for the next 10 years.
Why in the world would Kurt Cignetti leave Indiana
after winning championship? Bigger things. Steelers, like you said, are one of the best franchises in all of sports. Why would I leave? Look, first off, Steelers, like I said, long tenured coaches. Mike Tomlin was there since 2008, 2009, something like that. Very long. Kurt Cignetti, he can have the exact same tenure at the pro level if he wins. He knows his ego. He knows he can win. He knows he can win. And I feel like if he could, truly take up that opportunity, he would. And honestly, I think the Steelers should interview him, give him a chance, and really see what he's all about.
You know what? I don't hate it. I truly don't hate it because I think Cignetti has been all about proving people wrong. He left Alabama to take a D2 job. He's like, why can't I be a head coach? I can do it. He bet on himself. He went a D2 job. He went to JMU. He went to Indiana. And he's done everything that you possibly can do in college football besides, having a dynasty.
Yeah.
I can see him and his ego doing that, but it's just not realistic. It's just not realistic. Right. There's no shot.
But you have coaches who are out of their damn mind, bro. You have coaches who are actual winners, and guess what? Like you said in a couple episodes ago, way long ago actually, at the beginning of our pod, these coaches have to be insane, to be of that winning culture.
Autistic.
I don't say it as that. I don't look at it at that angle. Chud maxing, yes. I don't look at it at that angle, but I do see it as these coaches have to be truly in love with their craft, in love with their sport. And honestly, I think Kurt Cignetti, his ego is high enough to where he's like, you know what? Let me prove it wrong. Like you said, let me go to this pro level. Let me get tenured for, the next 10 years possibly. Let me show out. Let me become the next Bill Belichick. Let me do this. You know what I mean? I see it.
Big stretch. But look, people have said over time, like over the past years, being a college football head coach is way harder than an NFL coach because, not in terms of football, because you have to be a GM pretty much. You have to build your team. You have to go out. You have to recruit 18-year-old, 17-year-old kids with huge egos who want money now. Get people in the transfer portal. In the NFL, it's all X's and O's. In the NFL, your GMs really take care of the team building. You have input on it. But at the end of the day, it's really all X's and O's. It's the highest level of football coaching at the end of the day because all you're in charge of is the actual football that goes in the field. Whereas if you're a head coach in college football, like Cignetti, he has to work that transfer portal. He has to work recruiting. He has a lot more to do than an NFL coach would. So at the end of the day, if he wants to go to a pure X's and O league where all he has to worry about is football and game planning, I can see that. But again, it's just a huge stretch. He just got a huge contract. I don't think the Steelers would give him as big of a contract as Indiana did. Indiana's money, Mark Cuban money, like they're going to do whatever they can to keep him there. And I think he's going to be comfortable where he's at, in my opinion. We'll
definitely see about that. A stretch, yes.
Big stretch.
A stretch, yes. Big stretch, A stretch, yes. Steelers need a head coaching position. Kurt Cignetti could take it up. That's it. That's all I got to say about that. Personally, I think Steelers fans would be insanely happy about...
Everyone would be.
Exactly.
Any fan.
Kurt Cignetti is an insane coach, and I would love to see him at the Steelers. And honestly, I think the Steelers need to interview him, need to send the bank. Art Rooney II. Send the bank. Send it for him. Honestly, yeah, that's all I got to say about that. But shout out Kurt Cignetti. Shout out the Steelers, honestly. I just needed to ship that in there. We've been talking so much about the Ravens. I needed to throw a little Steelers talk in. We have a little extra, just a little thoughts. I don't want any thoughts on it. We got Phillip Rivers interviewing for the Bills. Pretty crazy to me, honestly.
Missed me with that.
You don't like that?
Truly missed me with that, dude.
I thought, honestly...
He coached a high school team before this. Missed me with that,
He has coaching experience.
Missed me with that.
Look. That's insane to say. He has coaching experience. He has NFL playing experience. We've seen NFL players always go into the coaching experience. We have DeMeco Ryans. We have Antonio Pierce. We have who else? We have Jim Harbaugh. We have many different players who have turned into coaches. So is it crazy to say that a Hall of Fame quarterback in Phillip Rivers going into the coaching business is crazy to say? He's already shown his coaching ability. How is that crazy to say?
Look, the NFL is truly a racist organization if they hire Phillip Rivers. Want to know why? Because if I'm an organization, I'm going to want to hire a Deion Sanders before I get a Phillip Rivers. Someone who's actually truly worked their way up the ranks from high school to low-level college to an actual Power 4 college football team in Colorado. I'd rather coach like
it's all about
Prime.
clicks.
Coach Prime, at the end of the day, I'd rather have him with more experience. So I think the NFL is a racist organization if they just give Phillip Rivers that job just because of his name. Deion Sanders is a bigger name than Phillip Rivers at the end of the day. So it can't just be about clicks. It had to be about something else. Deion Sanders deserves that job more than Phillip Rivers, in my opinion.
Yes,
he's earned his way.
Right. He's a bigger name. He's earned his way from what? His name. He literally got his jobs because of his name. Deion Sanders' name got him his JSU job. He got him his Colorado job. Yes, he got his Colorado job.
He made Colorado from a bottom feeder, literally like the worst team in college football, to a
because of Travis
Bowl
Hunter.
Game. Yeah, that's recruiting. That's still part of his job. He brings names. You don't think he would want to play for Coach Prime in the NFL? Even in the NFL, bro, people are going to want to play for Coach Prime.
Hell no. And look, heavens no. In my opinion, I think Phillip Rivers is the more sound coach mentally. I think he personally.
I wonder why. Why.
He doesn't use
big NFL guy.
He doesn't use his name to get to his position. Yes, Deion Sanders he was the most athletic player in the league. But guess what? In my personal opinion, I think Phillip Rivers is the better coach.
So
I think he is the better all-time. One of the better all-time quarterbacks, in my opinion, as well.
You haven't seen Phillip Rivers any of his coaching abilities. So you're saying what? Coach Prime is too athletic, too flashy?
No,
I wonder why you're saying that.
Insane statement.
Why you're saying that.
Look, what I'm saying is that Coach Prime got his recruiting status off of his name and his ability to play football.
That carries.
It does not. It will not carry in the NFL. His winning status. He doesn't win games because of him. He wins games because of
it's a rebuilding year.
Because of the Heisman and because of him. This wasn't this past year. This past year. Yes, exactly. Travis Hunter generously went to JSU. He generously followed him because of his name, because of his status.
You think that Poole doesn't follow to the NFL?
Truly, I don't think. He is not Mike Tomlin.
You don't think rookies,
he is not Mike Tomlin.
You don't think rookies are going to want to play? He's a player's coach. And he's showed they can turn a franchise school like Colorado into a winning team. He's won with Colorado. Obviously not the last season, but he's done it. We have more of a resume to say.
We are taking his success, I don't even know if I would call it success. His minimal success. We are putting that 9-3 at any other team. We're putting 9-3 at a Texas team. They failed.
Texas is a different team from Colorado. They're a different team.
We are truly giving too much props to Deion Sanders for transforming the Colorado team. He brought them out of the slums, yes. But to say that he will be the better NFL coach than Phillip Rivers is crazy to say.
You haven't even seen Phillip Rivers coach.
But he's getting interviews other than Deion Sanders for a reason. You get what I'm saying? And yes, I have seen him coach high school. He did coach high school. Guess what? He coached high school. He was an all-time quarterback. And yes, I would rather take an all-time quarterback's expertise than a quarterback's expertise. Cornerback, yes.
Dude. I don't even have anything to say.
Would you not take an all-time quarterback? Yes. Are you saying Phillip Rivers isn't a top 10 all-time quarterback?
Top 7?
Exactly.
Top 7? No, he's
not said top 10.
No, he's still not a top 10 quarterback. Ooh. He never won a ring.
Is he not top 10 passing? Am I tweaking? He reads offenses, he reads defenses, and he knows how to play the professional game. Deion was an all-time cornerback.
He played both sides of the ball.
No.
And special teams.
That wide receiver isn't teaching nothing to an NFL team. A wide receiver coach isn't going anywhere in the NFL. I am saying a quarterback like Phillip Rivers, his expertise on both sides of the ball. He can read the offensive game and defensive game.
You're talking about both sides of the ball?
I would have taken an all-time quarterback in Phillip Rivers than Deion Sanders, bro.
Deion Sanders is literally the greatest
athlete.
No, the greatest like two side of the ball player of all time
because of his athleticism.
Yes,
Not
and he
because of
played offense, he played defense, and he was one of the best, if not the best defender of all time. So obviously he knows how to read an offense as well on the other side of the ball.
Do you think he can read an offense better than Phillip Rivers, my boy?
No, but Phillip Rivers can't read a defense better than Deion Sanders can.
What?
No, he can't. He cannot.
You truly believe that?
I truly believe that.
Deion Sanders plays one position. He cuts off. No, I'm talking about quarterbacks. That's what I mean. I'm talking about one side of the field. In defense, he takes off one side of the field.
You have to know
he doesn't take off the whole field. Phillip Rivers has to read the entire field on offense and defense.
Folks, Roy's never played football in his life. If you're on
haven't.
defense, you gotta know the entire
Of course,
defense.
I'm looking at the quarterback size. You see the quarterback
You gotta know
size.
the
You see
entire
how he.
defense. You gotta know what your team's doing on defense as
But was
well.
he the captain? Do you think he was a captain of the entire defense?
He had to have been.
Hell no.
Were they calling the plays? No, but he has to know what the entire defense is doing.
But guess what? Phillip Rivers was calling offensive plays while reading the entire defense. Calling plays, guess what? Is a coach's job, not a cornerback's job. Guess what? And guess who's more in tune with this? Guess who's getting interviewed for head coaching positions? Phillip Rivers.
I wonder why.
Guess what? No,
I wonder
not
why.
because he's white.
I wonder why.
Not because
I
of
wonder
that.
why.
But guess what? Because he reads. He reads both offense and defense. He calls plays for the offense and he calls plays against the defense. So guess what? I personally believe that makes him the best head coaching, honestly, interviewee. One of the best interviewees.
Take him. Steelers can take him.
Hell no.
Steelers can take him. Go
He
ahead.
is not personally what I had in mind. Like I said, I want a more offensive-minded coordinator. Maybe even a purely defensive studied defensive coordinator. Maybe in little Shula. But in my personal opinion, I think Phillip Rivers is a pretty damn good interviewee. And honestly, I wouldn't be mad if the Bills took him. I wouldn't be mad. He knows both sides of the ball, and that's it.
I wouldn't be mad either because it'd make the Ravens' job a lot easier against the Bills, in my opinion, than if they had Deion Sanders. But
we'll see about that.
All I have for that. Do you have anything else to do for the NFL?
That's all I got about that.
All right. We can wrap it up, and we'll be back.
Let's get back right into it, Join FTP. Hopefully, y'all are staying along with us because we got some heater NBA takes. We were spazzing about the NFL. We were going crazy about the NFL. But guess what? We got to show us some NBA. Let's start it off with some Spurs talk. You know, we love the Spurs. We love the Spurs around here, matter of fact.
We do.
We are San Antonio damn near natives.
Damn near.
Let's talk about it. Bald Wemby entering a flow state. He is taking apart teams. He got to spin back on the Timberwolves. He got to spin back on the Jazz multiple times. He's showing out.
Snatch block.
Yes, exactly. Snatch block. I like how Bald Wemby's moving. Bald Comes Johnson. I mean, you got to pick it up a little, but you're showing it. You're showing a little promise. Honestly, let's throw it back. BG Nation, unfortunately, we are not bald for a reason. Y'all did not come through. We are not bald like Wemby and Keldon Johnson because, unfortunately, y'all didn't hit that 35 like threshold. But
not even close.
Not even true. I was nervous for a second, but I'm honestly a tad happy. I know y'all saw us faded up. I know a couple of y'all saw us balded up on that Instagram. Follow us on Instagram if y'all are watching on YouTube and y'all haven't followed yet. Exactly, it's great stuff. A little AI edit of us, bald. Check it out. But that's honestly all I got to say about the Spurs. We have
I'm not gonna lie. To get back on that. I was genuinely scared we're gonna get balded, bro. We got like 8 likes within the first hour, and then we just got 3 likes over the next week.
Truly, bro. Our loyal hitters hit.
Where did y'all go, bro? Where did y'all go? I was like halfway happy. Cause I'm like, all right, we're gonna go bald, but like, as we're getting likes, we got like no likes over any of it, bro. No one left a like.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I'm begging.
I'm personally not. I don't want to go bald. I like my hair.
Leave me alone.
I love fluffing up my hair.
Truly, hit him.
I love fluffing up my hair, doing a little fluff. If I were to go bald, I would not have a hand movement for the rest of 3 months maybe. That would be OD. Personally, I think you like going bald. Embarrassment king. But in my personal opinion, Wemby and the Spurs, they're moving. Unfortunate loss against the Rockets. I feel like we always come back to it. We sell leads. They had I put right here a 19-point sell job, maybe even more, maybe pretty close to it.
So frustrating.
Insane. Very frustrating. You have a Rockets team that's very close to you in the Western Conference standing. You can make a damn statement at their home. You have a 19-point lead and you sell the lead. Yes, okay, look. We have Devin Vassell out right now. Yes, adductor strain still kind of lingering. One of our best shooters on the team. But at the end of the day, we have Wemby. We have multiple hitters across the team.
Fox.
Very deep. Yes, exactly. We're very deep. And honestly, to see us blow a 19-point sell job, I hate seeing the Spurs blow leads. One of my least favorite things to see. Honestly, I'm pretty sure you probably agree with me.
Ruin my damn night.
Yes.
Ruin my dang night.
I hate to see that.
I was at work. I was keeping tabs on the score. I'm like, oh, we got this. We're chilling. Big chilling. I tuned in as it was like a neck-and-neck game, and we saw them just, blow the lid off. Spurs were just missing after missing after missing, just missing over and over and again. They're just not clutch. At the end of the day, they're just not clutch. Wemby's not clutch. As of right now, could change, but Wemby's not clutch. Fox wasn't hitting his shots either. No one was stepping up, and announcers kind of put it up to it being a back-to-back. That could happen.
True.
They could be tired, but we got to close these games out, boys.
Yeah,
we truly got to close these games out.
Unacceptable. Yes, I agree with you. Unacceptable. You're up 19. You got to win that. Truly, yes, you're right. We struggle closing out. The Spurs struggle closing out. We don't have Vassell, like I said. He spaces out the floor for us. He puts up a high volume amount of threes. He's able to, get Wemby those better looks in the mid-range, the three-pointer even. Honestly, even three-pointer, yes. And even the paint. Even though Wemby can get down there, basically, he's 7'5". He does struggle sometimes. They push him out of the paint. They show him physicality. And honestly, I hate it, but the refs don't call it. The refs don't call these, minor calls on Wemby because, guess what? He's a damn giant. And honestly, I feel like they see it that way. They don't call these, these rough. Yeah, we saw it. We saw Alex Caruso, roughing him up a couple weeks back around Christmas break. But honestly, in my opinion, the Spurs, they need to figure out, especially come playoff time, how to close these games out. I think once they're fully healthy, they'll definitely get some better chances, figure it out a little better. But I need them to figure out come playoff time, especially for these closer games, these more physical games, no doubt about that. But yeah.
Truly, I'm not always mad if the Spurs don't show up night in and night out. Yep. Again, it's a long season, but against the Rockets, as you mentioned, a team that's very close to Spurs in terms of talent, seeding, expectations as of right now, rivalry, even location, Houston and San Antonio, right? Like just
some Texas teams.
Like 3 hours away from each other. You got to have some pride in the line. You got to hit those shots. You got to play harder. If it was against, 19 points blown is inexcusable.
Unacceptable.
Unacceptable against anyone.
Yes, honestly, it is unacceptable. In this modern day, NBA games, truly no lead is safe. I'm pretty sure you've heard it before. You can have a 20-point lead and blow it in a jiffy because guess what? This league is about three-point shooting, and guess what? The Spurs are not really the best three-point shooting team right now. I already said it. Vassell, one of our best three-point shooters, is out right now. So, yeah, we are seeing the Spurs struggle offensively as much as defensively, and it sucks to see. And honestly, I hope they figure it out. I hope they, get back on track. Even though they're winning games. They're winning games against, I know they have a crazy record. I think I saw it was like 17-2 or 16-2, some crazy stat line. I might be butchering it, but against road teams or teams under 500. I'm sorry about that. And honestly, it's impressive to see, but guess what? We need to close out bigger games against these bigger teams who are going to be in the playoffs.
And they can, because I've also seen the stat that they're one of the only teams that have beaten like the top 4 seeds. They've beaten they have beaten the Rockets before. They have beaten the Thunder many times. They've beaten the Nuggets. So they are a team that can beat these top teams. They can be contenders, but it's about putting it all together. Mitch Johnson, again, a young head coach. We haven't seen him at his full ability yet. Hopefully that's what differentiates a good head coach from a great head coach, someone that can truly bring that team to closing out these games, winning. As of right now, Mitch Johnson, not a great head coach. Obviously, very young in his career.
Coming up, in my opinion.
I hope, I'd say we give him like a 3-year window. If he can't win a championship in 3 years, maybe it's time to wrap it up. That's what I'm saying.
A championship in 3 years is quite a lot to ask for, but I see why you're saying that. The roster that you're being given is truly blessed. And honestly, you're giving a generational player in Wemby. But I think Mitch Johnson in the next 3 years, I think he will get a chip.
But if he doesn't
get a chip this year,
that's crazy to say. But if Mitch Johnson does not win a championship in the next 3 years, he should be canned. We should be looking at a different coach. You know what? Ooh. The coach lifespan of the NBA is definitely different than the coach lifespan of the NFL. It definitely
recently,
is
for sure.
It's a players' league. I think we've seen the last 6, 7. NBA champion head coaches just get shipped out.
Yes.
That happens, bro.
Steve Kerr, yes.
Yeah, pretty much. So I think Mitch Johnson has a very short leash, as does every NBA coach. So he needs to win now and he needs to figure it out sooner rather than later. You know what? We used to call them maybe 2-3 years ago the baby Spurs. The announcers would call them the baby Spurs because they were a young team.
Right.
They're not a young team anymore. They still technically are, but in terms of average age, they're around the middle of the league. They're average. They're not the young team that was on the come up anymore. They're here.
Right.
They're here already. They are here. Well, so within the next 3-4 years, they should be winning championships, or at least in the East or Western Conference game, like pretty much every other year at that point. So they're not the baby Spurs anymore. They need to be at the higher level at this point already, in my opinion.
Okay. And honestly, not a crazy take, but I personally think that Wemby is still damn young. Our superstar, in my opinion, look, off the rip, other team superstars like Shea, he is, 26, maybe, pushing 25 plus for sure, no doubt about that. Other superstars, you have Ant, pushing 25. You have these other players, while Wemby, our superstar, is at 21 years of age. Yes, in the next 3 years, if they were to win a championship, I think Wemby can damn near become a GOAT if they were to win the championship in the next 3 years. Why do I say that? Because LeBron wasn't able to get a chip or get to the finals until damn near 24, 25. So these other players are struggling to win a chip. Yes, you have Shea winning a chip. Let me look it up real quick. But at his age of 26, 27, honestly, it's impressive. It's impressive to see that. The roster that's built around him, I think you're kind of looking at it too far past it. In my opinion, yes, I still have the Spurs winning this year. But the next 3 years, if they were not to win a chip, it'd be sad to see. But I think it wouldn't be the biggest letdown, being that Wemby is barely 21 years of age. I think we're really looking past that.
I'd be disappointed in Wemby if by age 25 he hasn't taken the Spurs to at least a championship, just because the expectations, of him coming in as a LeBron type of talent, a Jordan, a Kareem type of talent. If he doesn't take his team by the age of 25, I'm thinking of maybe the Spurs aren't the team for him. As a Spurs fan, like maybe he needs a change in scenery. Wow. And that's what everyone's going to be thinking at that point as well. He went on the Spurs when he was, 18 years old, 19 years old?
Around there, yeah.
If he's there for 6 years and doesn't take him to a championship, it's a coaching problem. It's a Wemby problem. It might be time to blow it up. So I think the windows in sports are a lot smaller than people think, I think, at the end of the day. So I think the window is not too big. I think within the next 3 or 4 years, Spurs better make the finals, at least make the finals, or else Wemby could be out of there. Mitch Johnson definitely would need to be out of there, and we need to be starting over. I think windows are very small in the league, in every league, especially the NBA.
Okay. And just a quick note to end that off. Shea is 27. He was on the Clippers beforehand. Kind of got traded in that PG trade. A little, personally, I don't think it was the best trade. Obviously, they kind of shot the ball for PG. I think they sent like 5 firsts and SGA.
Pandemic P.
Crazy, bro. Crazy. Yeah, that was whenever he was in the MVP caliber situation. But I think in the next 3 years, yes, I agree with you. 3 or 4 years, if Wemby doesn't get to the finals or doesn't show promise, of course, I think, obviously it's a coaching problem, or maybe it's an environment problem. Maybe Wemby does need to see somewhere else. Maybe they haven't built the best possible roster around Wemby in the next 3 years if they don't show success. But honestly, I doubt that'll happen. I think this year will be the year. They will show it. I think fully healthy, the Spurs will cohesively start winning these playoff games once the time comes against these, honestly, Mickey Mouse-led teams. We have KD-led Rockets. In my opinion, they aren't going to be carried by KD through the playoffs. That 19-point blowout or 19-point comeback loss that we sold, honestly, will not happen again, especially with a Vassell on our team who is really spacing out the floor. And honestly, my personal opinion, Wemby will win a chip in the next 3 years, no doubt about that. But that's all I got to say about that.
Hey, Spurs playoff game. We've been waiting. We have not seen Spurs in the playoffs. Rod's been saying for no reason, truly stimming out. You just randomly say Spurs playoff game.
Maybe 6 years.
We're going.
Damn near.
This year, we are definitely going. BG Nation, we will be at a Spurs playoff game. Rod's been saying it for the past 6 years. It's finally going to happen. Truly, it's finally going to happen. But we got to see how they perform under the big lights in the playoff scenario. We haven't seen it yet, so there's still a lot to be seen. But like I said, that window is smaller than you think. It can be gone in an instant, just as fast as it came, or even faster. But yeah, besides that, we're talking about one GOAT, possible GOAT in Wemby. We can talk about another GOAT that's been under slander by a lot of people, especially Miss Jeannie Buss. Do you want to get into that one a little bit?
Yes, sir. We could definitely get into that. Jeannie Buss. If y'all don't know who she is, she is the former Lakers governor. So basically, the people who run the organization down there. They have a lot of say in things. And basically, Jeannie Buss began to turn against, quote unquote, LeBron James during their time in LA. By the way, this was like damn near last year. I'm pretty sure. 2024, 2023, the last couple years where the Lakers absolutely sold their playoff chances against teams like the Nuggets, other teams like, who else did they lose to? I really can't remember off the top of my head, but horrible playoff losses where they get bounced out, even though they have a pretty solid damn team. And honestly, it's insane to say. I'm going to finish off right here with this. LeBron basically was quote-unquote ungrateful for the Lakers drafting Bronny. And honestly, that's a crazy statement to say by Jeanie Buss in the organization. And honestly, I feel like they might have some truth in that. They're not just saying that just to say it. And personally, I think LeBron, I've been saying this the past couple episodes, is kind of doing too much, especially towards the end of his career. I feel like he is costing players like Luka Doncic, players like Austin Reeves even, key success, damn near contracts, key playoff performances in the playoffs, and honestly, their entire legacy, because he wants to, be a little diva about it. And honestly, that's all I got to say about it. What are your thoughts on that?
Look, at the end of the day, I'll say for most guys, I'll keep it equal, I'll say for most girls, Jeanie Buss is a grown-ass woman. Jeanie Buss is a grown-ass woman, and you're not only a woman, but you're the daughter of Jerry Buss.
Right.
NBA royalty, pretty much, in the Buss family in the NBA. If you don't want to draft Bronny, don't draft Bronny. If you truly want to keep that power, look, Steve Bisciotti, I'm going to go back to NFL slightly. Bisciotti, I think, is a great owner, came out and said, yeah, we'll listen to Lamar. He's an MVP. We'll listen to him, but you know what? Lamar doesn't have the power. I have the power. That's what he said. Bisciotti said, I have the power. They're the players. That's how it works. You know what? Jeanie Buss gave LeBron that power to really have that influence over the organization. It seems like same thing has happened to the Cavs his last couple of years, where it seems like LeGM was making all the decisions. That's on them at the end of the day. You're an NBA owner, billionaire, royalty pretty much in North America at that point. And you're giving all the power to your player. No wonder you're not succeeding at the highest level. Ooh. You are an owner. If you're a true leader, you keep that power, not as a tyrant, but in some sort of way. If you're giving all power to LeBron, obviously you're not going to be successful. If you have LeBron running your team, if you have any type of power imbalance where people are trying to question who's truly in charge, then you're not a good owner and you're not a good leader. So I'm not going to say it's on LeBron. LeBron obviously is going to do what's best for him, what's best for his family, what's best for his legacy. Jeanie Buss, you are the owner of the best NBA franchise of all time, the Los Angeles Lakers. And you're going to give him that power to say, no, LeBron's not bigger than the Lakers. The Lakers are bigger than LeBron. They're here before him. They'll be here after him. You go under our terms. So to come and bitch about it after LeBron is gone, that's soft. That is soft at the end of the day. That's the reason why she's no longer the owner of a team that her dad built up. And that's why LeBron, it's a GOAT at the end of the day. How thankful do you want to be? What do you want him to come out and personally thank you, Jeanie Buss, for drafting him? What do you want from him? You're the owner of an NBA franchise at the time. You're in charge of all the rules. Be a leader and don't crumble against LeBron. He's one of your players at the end of the day.
Right. No, and I kind of agree with you. I hear what you're saying, right? But you truly can't call LeBron just a player. LeBron is the greatest player of all time. I'm not saying he isn't the GOAT. I am saying he's a diva. I feel like people have said that over the years, all the way back since maybe even damn near since he got traded to the Heat. People have been calling him a diva. He can't win by himself. He can't win, yada, 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 yada. People have been criticizing him. But personally, I slightly agree with you. But I feel like LeBron definitely has been too much of a diva to the point where he's costing players like Luka Doncic key playoff games, key seeding games where they could truly benefit from being a higher seed, winning more games, where LeBron's over here joking with the Suns bench. He's over here making the Lakers organization draft Bronny. Yes, and I feel like the Lakers are kind of entitled to give LeBron this because honestly, he brought them a chip. He brought them that Mickey Mouse ring chip, and honestly, I feel like Jeanie Buss did the right thing into giving LeBron kind of what he wanted. Yes, it's like a Giannis thing. You get your brother on a team for moral things, for moral reasons, for LeBron, or Giannis basically staying on the team longer, or basically being sound of mind, and basically allowing them to possibly further their success in the playoffs. And honestly, I'm all for it. If LeBron was ungrateful for it, that's on him. I feel like he should be grateful that his son got drafted by an NBA team because honestly, we could see him in the G League forever, maybe even out, not even drafted or even given a contract from any other team other than the Lakers.
Look, the Lakers need to man up at the end of the day. Look, yeah, you said LeBron got him a championship. 1 out of 17 of their championships. Like I said, they've been there before. They will be there again. They are the Los Angeles Lakers at the end of the day. LeBron doesn't give himself that power. The organization bending to his will gives him that power. Maybe it was the Cavaliers. Maybe he stayed on the Cavs, and he truly only brought them their only championship, their only form of relevance. The Lakers have been relevant since the dawn of time. The logo player is a Laker in Jerry West. They have Shaq. They have Kobe. They have Kareem. They have Magic. They have Luka for the foreseeable future. They are giving LeBron that power themselves. So LeBron, like I said at the end of the day, is doing what's best for him. That is a Lakers issue, and maybe it's better now that they're under, like, if LeBron's not performing, which he's not, I don't think, if LeBron's making it more about him, which I think he currently is, why not ship him out? They have the power to do so. It's not like LeBron has something that says that, oh, you can't trade me. He's not the one in charge of those decisions.
He kind of does.
He's not in charge of those decisions.
I believe he has a no trade clause.
They can still trade him. Everyone's tradable in the NBA.
They can't. You need to actually get confirmation from the player, I believe. And honestly, in my opinion, they already kind of did this. They did this by acquiring Luka Doncic. They did this by not telling LeBron undercoverly, Rob Pelinka, the actual owner of the Lakers franchise, who has a big majority of it, he didn't tell LeBron this because of this issue. They brought LeBron in thinking that, or they made LeBron think, okay, look, you have the reins here. This is your team. This is what you do. Win us a chip, and we'll give you everything you want. And guess what? That's what he did. He won him a chip, gave him everything he want, and guess what? He is now being a diva because he simply can't
They gave him
get what he want.
They gave him that power,
they
though.
Did, slightly,
why would you tell him that?
That's what he came for, though. That's why he came to Los Angeles.
You can't tell a player that.
You give him no trade clauses. You give him bread.
Then that's what's wrong with the NBA. That's why. That's why NBA players run the league. That's why NBA players can go to any team they want. That's why if an NBA player doesn't want to play for a team, they won't play there anymore. That's why if an NBA player like Giannis doesn't like a coach, they'll get him fired. The NBA themselves has a big issue with giving the players all the power. They were a players' league. You know what?
Exactly.
That's not good. That's not great because then you get issues like this.
Yeah.
And that's not a LeBron issue.
That's a LeBron issue.
He's playing into the system. He's not the only player to do this. Think of a Kawhi Leonard.
What about a Tom Brady? What about a Tom Brady who, I know we're talking about NFL, but he takes contract cuts for his team. He doesn't give the ownership problems because he's all about winning. And honestly, yes, I'm a big LeBron hater.
Freudian slip.
That is a Freudian slip because guess what? I'm a big LeBron lover, but at the end of the day, his past actions have made me kind of dislike him. Honestly, I think that players like Tom Brady, like I just said, cut their contracts, get better players on a team, truly are all about winning and clutchness, where they really don't care about the money. They don't care about their damn son getting drafted on their team. They don't care about any of that. They care about winning championships. And guess what? Honestly, I think this is a tally on LeBron. You say it isn't, but I personally say it is. And honestly, I think Genie Bus was kind of spitting with this.
Look, I'm going to end it off on this, on the LeBron hate by you. But look, LeBron is just a player of the system of the NBA. NFL and NBA are two completely different organizations and how they're ran from top to bottom. And I think there's a reason why NFL, what was I talking about? But look, NFL and NBA are ran completely differently. There's a reason why the NFL is way more successful than the NBA. Because you got players like Tom Brady who will stay on the team for a lot longer, whereas superstars bounce between team and team all over the place. All over the place. It's very rare. Besides like old school players like a Kobe, like MJ. A Dirk, like an MJ, like a Tim Duncan, but even MJ played for the Wizards. You know what I mean?
Well, that's different.
But the organizations of the NBA are not as serious as NFL organizations. There's a reason why the NFL is far more successful than the NBA, at least in the States, and that's because they know how to keep their players. They know how to keep their players in place. They know how to build foundations from the organization from top to bottom, whereas the NBA seems to have a problem with that, where the head coach is secondary to the star player. Whereas in the NFL, I don't feel like it is that way, for at least for like the top level organizations, in my opinion.
Honestly, yeah, that's definitely a fair take to bring up. Honestly, I have nothing else to say about this. Personally, look, I think it is a pretty good stopping point for this, at least this entire segment. Comments, please let us know what you think about this. I think, honestly, just to end it off, very equal playing fields. Professional athletes at the end of the day. Owners are going to be owners. Players are going to be players. I think LeBron's being a diva, and that's it.
Okay, we can end off on that. We'll agree to disagree on that one. But last thing we have to go off of, I'm going to pull it up on my phone. I'm not just doom scrolling, y'all.
Go for it, bro.
I'm going to pull up.
Bro's starting to doom scroll, bro.
I'm bored, bro. I'm doom scrolling. But no,
truly, yeah.
Look. I'm just pulling up the two different, the Team World and Team USA, because those got announced for the NBA.
Yep.
And I will announce it here. So Team World consists of Shea, Luka, Giannis, Wemby, and Jokic. Truly a good team. But in my opinion, the even better team. Team USA has Steph Curry, Jalen Brunson, Tyrese Cadenham, and Jaylen Brown. So that's Team World versus Team USA. You know what? A lot of comments. They put up a poll. Bleacher Report said who would win this matchup, and 89% said Team World would win this matchup. What do you think, Roy?
Personally, look, I'm going to agree. I'm going to agree with the fan bias right here. I'm going to agree with the fan takes. I appreciate you putting it right here. I personally believe that the Team World is one of the best teams we've seen in history. I think if you were to put this team in any professional league, in any All-Star League format, this is one of the best teams I've ever seen in my life. Let's repeat this. We have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, previous MVP. We have Luka Doncic, one of the best scorers / players of all time. Yes, I'm saying all time. We have Giannis, one of the best power forwards, one of the most dominant players of all time. Wemby, absolute unicorn, 7'5". Yes, we glaze him.
Alien.
And Jokic, one of the best passing centers of all time, one of the best offensive players of all time. And honestly, Team USA is looking a little lackluster on defense. They're looking lackluster on their big support. And honestly, I think that Team World wins this matchup any day of the week.
Look. So what you're missing out on, Team USA. We just watched them play, about a year or two ago?
Yeah.
I mean, you have Bam Adebayo. You have Bam Adebayo when it comes to the bigs. You have Jaren Jackson when it comes to defense for the bigs.
Serviceable.
You have Joel Embiid. He plays for Team USA. He played for Team USA. I mean, little Mickey, yeah, but he plays for Team USA. Obviously, he's not as healthy as you'd want him to be. At the end of the day, I think it's all propaganda. Truly, I think it's all propaganda. People want to say that USA is not the greatest country anymore for basketball. Completely incorrect. At the end of the day, you have one singular country going against the best players from the rest of the world combined. Okay. Look, you got Shai out of Canada. You got Luka from, Slovenia. Giannis from Greece. Wemby from France. And Jokic from Serbia. That is 5 different countries putting their best player forward against 5 players from one singular country. All propaganda at the end of the day. Look, It takes a superpower. It takes a damn near Avengers from every other country's best player to go against our best 5 for people to finally say, Team World's better. Yeah, no crap. You have professional leagues across all of the world, and we have one league here in the NBA. But you know what? You don't see Wemby playing for the French league. You don't see Giannis playing for the Greek league. They're all coming to the United States to play because that's where all the ballers truly are at. So at the end of the day, I think it's truly a little bit of anti-USA propaganda when it comes to basketball. Maybe to get some views up because USA is going to be hosting the Olympics here soon.
Yeah.
Thinking that they might have a chance of losing. There's no shot that the USA lose at the Olympics at the end of the day. Look, Wemby, France, who else do they have? Gobert guy?
Evan
Fournier. Cool. Yeah, they're going against Brunson and Maxey and Cadenham, Jaylen Brown. Look, and you got, who else is going to be in Team Serbia with freaking Jokic? You know what I mean? Team Canada is actually pretty decent. Latvia, no. Greece, no. I think Canada is actually going to be a pretty decent team, but at the end of the day, not anything to compete with the USA. So like I said, at the end of the day, it is USA. One country against the rest of the 250-plus countries in the world?
Okay.
Come on, man. That's propaganda, and that is really pitting everyone against USA to try to make us look bad, in my opinion.
Okay, look, off the rip, just wanted that take. I feel like after Curry retires, right? Curry's old.
And LeBron.
Yes, LeBron, of course. LeBron might not even participate in this upcoming Olympics. We'll see. But yes, I agree. Team USA showed out barely against the France-led Wemby team this past Olympics. Personally, once Curry retires, right? Once LeBron retires, obviously, even though he might not play this next Olympics.
KD.
Yes, KD. He might not even play this next Olympics either. Once these veterans of the NBA, of the USA, Team USA, retire, who's going to step up? Tyrese Halliburton to take down Wemby? Hell no.
Cade?
No.
I have a big take about Cade.
I know you're a Cade lover, but guess what?
Cade.
Personally, I think France's team gave this Avengers-level team a run for the money. Yes, they couldn't handle damn Curry. Who can? You know what I mean? They didn't have the guards to handle Curry. Like I said, who does? But in my personal opinion, I think France is honestly going to run the world stage the next couple of years, the next couple of Olympics even. And personally, I do agree with you. Team World is a collective of different, obviously, world players. Team USA is centered on the USA. But talking Olympics, I personally believe that Wemby and France are going to be next up. I love America as much as you do, I promise.
He hates America. Gang, he hates America.
I promise it's not true. But I'm a proud American. But at the end of the day, I personally believe that Wemby is going to stunt on the USA team. I don't think Ant Edwards. I don't think Tyrese Halliburton. Who else? Jalen Brunson.
Jason Tatum.
No.
Chet.
Nope.
Chet.
Nope.
Chet against Wemby.
Wemby owns Chet in all the matchups they played. Like I said, bro, Wemby and the French team are truly going to be here to stay in the world stage. And honestly, you are right. Team USA truly does have some competitiveness still with Curry. But once he retires, he is pushing 38 now. I truly think they are cooked.
Look. Obviously, the top 5, I think the players on Team World are the 5 best players in the world, in my opinion. I think in most people's opinions. Right. But from top to bottom, depth, the bench, USA will have still more power than any other team. Because besides Wemby and like Gobert, who knows how he'll be in like 2 years, who do these teams really have? Serbia with Jokic in 2 years, how is he going to be playing? Who else do they have on their team? Canada's really the only team that I think will have a reasonable matchup against Team USA, in my opinion, because they have Jamal Murray. They have I guess Andrew Wiggins. But again, we're just saying
they have a nice team. They're
all right, but like at the end of the day, there's no shortage of good NBA players for the USA to put on their team. They will have good players coaching their team with a good coach as well. Probably Steve Kerr, probably Doc Rivers. Better not be Doc Rivers. But like, I'm just saying, from top to bottom, they are going to beat every other team. I don't care. You just mentioned really good players, but they can fill all 9 slots quite easily, whereas I think other teams might struggle to fill 9 slots competitively, in my opinion. And look, it'd be poetic justice for Wemby to come in with Team France and win. Because look, right, he lost in the championship game in front of his own home crowd in France. So it would only be poetic for Wemby to come back and beat Team USA, dethrone them in front of their own home crowd in the United States the next time they play. Truly,
that would, yep.
It'd be poetic.
Spin back.
Script-like, truly at the end of the day. Script-like, movie-like at the end of the day. But it's not going to happen. I don't see USA falling off anytime soon. They have the best players in the world. Anytime soon. I don't think ever. I don't think we'll ever see another team beat Team USA ever in the Olympics, in my opinion.
Okay. That's a take. And honestly, I'm going to leave it at that. Personally, I disagree with you. But we'll definitely have to wait and see. Honestly, what is that? A couple damn years from now. But
like 2.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Not too bad. It'll but
before you know.
Sometime, man, we might. Hopefully the pod will keep running. Hopefully
we'll still be here. Don't even
yes, sir.
think about it. Don't even think about it.
But for sure, honestly, what do you want to do from here?
Last couple things here. So I want to just go through. I like 3 takes. I just want to throw in there.
Go for it.
I just want to see. I'll call it valid or invalid, and you can tell me what you think about them. Just 3 takes that I've had on my mind for a little bit here, a little minute. Maybe explain them a bit, but I just want to hear what you have to say about them. You personally.
Go for it, bro.
All right,
shoot them.
First one. You know what? All right. I know you like the Bears. I know you like Caleb Williams.
Bears, yeah.
You like Caleb Williams, I think. Personally, right now in the NFL today, over the past 8 years, everyone would say if you were starting an NFL franchise from scratch and you had the number 1 overall pick, who'd you pick? Patrick Mahomes. No brainer, right?
Sure.
If we were to restart the NFL today from scratch and I had the number 1 overall pick, I've been thinking about this for a couple weeks now. All these takes have been on my mind for a little minute. If I had the number 1 pick in the NFL today and I could pick anyone to start my franchise around, I would not pick Patrick Mahomes. I would pick Caleb Williams to lead my team instead of Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, anyone. Caleb Williams would be the number 1 overall pick if an NFL franchise were to start over from scratch and could pick anyone in the league. Valid or invalid?
Off the rip, I'm going to say absolutely invalid, bro. Look, first off, in my personal opinion, I think Caleb Williams is the 3rd best quarterback in his draft class currently. Yes, currently. I personally believe that a healthy Jaden Daniels 5, yes, Jaden Daniels, JD5, is better than Caleb Williams currently. I think Drake May is better than Caleb Williams. I think, honestly, personally, I'll put Bo Nix above him. I'll put current Bo Nix, as I said previously in this podcast. I think quarterbacks that are sound, that don't make as many turnovers for their offense, that actually let their defense play a sound game and don't, have them playing the entire game, is truly what makes a winning quarterback a winning quarterback. Caleb Williams had, 3 turnovers against the Rams? A game where they truly could have won. It was a 3-point game in overtime. They could have won that game, but guess what? Caleb Williams turned the ball over. So no, I don't think he's the best quarterback right now. I don't even think he's the best top 3 quarterback in his class currently.
That's crazy to say. Do you think so? Okay, there's a difference between best quarterback and most talented quarterback.
Okay.
Would you say JD5, Jaden Daniels, and Drake May are more talented than Caleb Williams?
Personally, look, I'm going to say it right here. I think Caleb Williams is a very talented quarterback.
Yep.
I'm not saying that he isn't.
Maybe the most talented quarterback in the
I am
NFL.
saying, look, he is very Mahomes. Yes, you said right here you would want to rebuild your roster with a Mahomes, even though, yes, he just tore his ACL. Yes, he might be set back a little. But guess what? He has shown it. He has experience. He has shown his ability to win.
Caleb's still young. It's his
Caleb
second
hasn't
year.
showed anything other than being led in a Ben Johnson offense, who is a known winning coach. And honestly, I do respect Caleb Williams. I love Caleb Williams at the end of the day. But in my personal opinion, I think JD5, Drake May, and even Bo Nix are very, very close to Caleb Williams. And honestly, there are probably a couple quarterbacks you would rather rebuild than Caleb Williams.
It's crazy to say that Ben Johnson is a known winning head coach. Look, this was the first year that Caleb Williams truly played with Ben Johnson. Before that, it was Eberflus, who was fired halfway through the season. So truly, I would call his rookie season a wash. I mean, pretty much a complete wash.
Of course.
There's no stability there. It's a failing franchise. They should have fired Eberflus a year before. But I think they got the right pick in Ben Johnson. I think he's a great head coach, a great young head coach, first time being a head coach in the NFL. This is the first time we saw Ben Johnson being a head coach in the NFL. This is the first time we saw Caleb Williams with a competent head coach in the NFL. And what we saw was them making it to the divisional round. The Bears, mind you, the Bears who have been bottom dwellers for the past couple years, besides 1 year with Mitch Trubisky, have been bottom dwellers throughout the NFL. And them together, they created one of the most explosive, exciting, most fun teams to watch. The Cardiac Bears. Yes, the play I saw Caleb Williams on 4th down to tie the game, to go to overtime against the Rams. You know what I'm talking about, where he's bad 10, 15 yards behind the line of scrimmage, throws it up, perfect dot for a touchdown in the corner. No one else can make that play. No one else in the NFL can make that play.
Okay, look, I'm gonna tune in. I'm gonna interrupt you. Look, off the rip, Caleb had a crazy season, okay?
Yes.
He had a crazy throw, yes, against the, what was it?
Manny.
Against the Rams. Yes, he has these Mahomes type of throws, but guess what? So does Jaden Daniels. Yes, he had a rollout Hail Mary against whoever it was.
In the regular season.
Okay, regular season is that. They went to the NFC Championship. Guess what? Caleb Williams didn't even go that far. The Bears didn't go that far. Yes, I personally believe that it's a coaching thing. I'm going to go back to it. It is a coaching thing. What is his name? Ben Johnson. He has showed this. He made Jared Goff look explosive, bro. Jared Goff is a system quarterback. He makes quarterbacks look good. He makes offenses look good. And I personally think Caleb Williams, yes, he was the first Bears. Actually, isn't he even the first Bears? What was the record? Was it 3,000 yards, 4,000 yards? It was a record like that. Yes, Caleb Williams, one of the most historic Bears quarterbacks. But I personally feel like that is due to Ben Johnson. I feel like Ben Johnson's ability to coach offensive schemes, as we saw with the Lions, as we saw with Jared Goff, honestly shows right here. The rush game with the Lions the previous year with Ben Johnson was also elite. And honestly, I wonder why, bro. I truly wonder why. Why do you think? Yes, Jahmyr Gibbs is crazy. Yes, David Montgomery is crazy. But guess what? It translates. The Bears' rushing defense, or rushing offense, is one of the best in the league for a reason, because of the head coach. And I think Caleb Williams being the person you give all the praise to is quite crazy to say.
Look, I'm not giving all the praise to Caleb Williams. Obviously, I just praise Ben Johnson. I say he's a great head coach.
Right.
I wish the Ravens had him. I'm sure you wish the Steelers had him.
Of course, yeah.
I think anyone wished they had Ben Johnson as their head coach, truly. But you can't handicap Caleb Williams having a good season just because of Ben Johnson. Caleb Williams is not a system quarterback. He is not a system quarterback. But look, a bad system can make a good quarterback bad at the end of the day, in my opinion. We've seen it many times when players get thrown into bad situations and they end up being good, i.e. Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield. Even Bryce Young recently, in my opinion, which we'll talk about here in a bit. Bryce Young got thrown into a bad situation, but finally paired with the right head coach, able to flourish. So for you to, discount what he's doing just because he had a good head coach, I think is complete utter nonsense. So, we'll wrap it up. We can keep going forever on this, but
truly,
I think that if I were to start an organization right now, and have the number one pick and can pick anyone, I'd pick Caleb Williams. And you think that is invalid?
I think that's baloney. I truly think that's baloney.
Okay.
Honestly, off the rip, I personally can't even list someone I'd build an organization around.
Mahomes?
Even then, look, Mahomes is personally, right now, he tore his ACL. You're banking on him to basically pull a Brady and come back and win damn near 3 chips. I personally don't see that. Even then, honestly, I personally think that damn near even a Josh Allen type. Yes, even a Josh Allen type. I have a lot of respect for Josh Allen. I like the way he plays. I like the way he wins games. He's able to win games with a weak receiving cast. He's able to win games with, honestly, he's able to, basically, I'm not saying he's the main rusher. Yes, James Cook was the top rusher of the league this year, but he's able to give that extra room for James Cook to run. And honestly, I think he's a quite best dual threat quarterback in the league. I think he's personally better than Lamar Jackson. And honestly, that's probably who I would build my team around, in my personal opinion. I think it's a defense game with the Bills. I personally think the Bills are selling their defense right now, but we kind of did talk about that already. All I got to say about that.
Roy just said that Josh Allen's a better dual threat quarterback than Lamar Jackson, and that he would build his team
I say
around
that, yeah.
Josh Allen. You know what?
I'd say that, yeah.
I'm not even going to waste my breath on that. I'm gonna just let that take simmer.
You're wasting it right now. You're wasting it right now.
I'm gonna let that take simmer for what it is, because I'm gonna move on to my next one, because that is just a crazy statement to say, in my opinion.
Let me know what you have. Let me know if y'all agree or disagree with me in the comments.
There's no shot.
That's all I gotta say about that.
All right, next one I have, valid or invalid. This one I've been sitting on for a long time. You know what? People are think I cherry picked it just because this weekend Stroud has been getting a lot of hate, but this one has been on my mental. All these have been on my mental for a little minute.
Okay.
I personally think, what is it? The third year in the league for both of them. I think that the Panthers got the right pick in picking Bryce Young over C.J. Stroud. And you know what? Obviously, you can say that now because we just saw C.J. Stroud absolutely sell the Duffy against as the Texans against the Patriots. So we just saw that. But in my opinion, I've thought that for a good little minute. I love Bryce Young. I always thought he got way too much hate. Ever since I saw Bryce Young dice up the Texas defense on Alabama, I knew he was a baller. I knew he knew how to win. Obviously, he's not a perfect prospect, and he has a long way to go. But I think he was thrown into a way worse situation with a way worse receiving cast than C.J. Stroud was. And look, Bryce Young has only been progressing. He knows how to win. He knows how to be clutch, whereas C.J. Stroud was put into a pretty good position with really good receivers, and he's only been on the downhill slide. I don't know if C.J. Stroud will ever get to the heights he did in his rookie season, whereas I think Bryce Young's best days are still ahead of him. So in my opinion, I would take Bryce Young over C.J. Stroud 10 out of 10 times every day.
Okay, look. I'm gonna
valid or invalid?
Okay, look, off the rip, invalid. I'm not here to disagree with you. I have my reasons, and I'm gonna say them right here. Look, first off, C.J. Stroud is not that far from Bryce Young. I personally think they're on the same playing level as Josh Allen, as Lamar Jackson. And yes, I'm gonna counter. Let me hear what you say.
But look, think about this. From when they first got drafted, after their first season, think about what the talks were from C.J. Stroud, top 5 quarterback, the top 7 quarterback, where Bryce Young was benched the next year for Andy Dalton at one point. People were calling him a bust.
Right.
And it's gotten to a point where you're calling them literally equal. What does that mean? That C.J. Stroud started at this point so high up, and Bryce Young started at the very bottom, and their playing levels has brought them all the way to pretty much equal in your opinion. So that means C.J. Stroud's only been on a downturn where Bryce Young's been going up, in my opinion. So what does that say? What does that say about a quarterback going into a third year? How confident are you in a quarterback that's only been going on the downhill year after year, whereas a quarterback, a young guy, put into one of the worst franchises in the Panthers, who's only been elevating them year after year?
Yeah, no, of course. That is honestly a reasonable point to bring up. And honestly, I have this to say about that. I personally feel like at the end of the day, it is an offensive line issue. Look, off the rip, we can say C.J. Stroud, yes, he succeeded his rookie season. Yes, he showed out. He exceeded expectations even. And he was able to prove himself better than Bryce Young his first season. No doubt about that. But off the rip, we could say that Bryce Young didn't have the best situation. We could say that Bryce Young didn't have the best offensive line.
He had nothing.
Exactly. He had absolutely nothing. But guess what? Coming the second and third year, the Panthers organization really stepped up their game. And honestly, I'm proud to see that. I'm proud to see that they gave Bryce Young another chance. They were able to upgrade his O-line. They were able to get Robert, I forgot his name.
Robert Moden.
Truly
Robert Hunt.
They were able to get pieces. Another piece as well that we're missing right now. They were able to get 2 O-line pieces. They were able to get a better coach. They were able to get more receivers. Ted McMillan. They were able to
in the first round.
Exactly. They were able to really center themselves around Bryce Young, give him that opportunity to really excel and flourish. That's why I think we're seeing an uphill. While I feel like C.J. Stroud, yes, he shut out his first year. That is his natural ability as a quarterback. And I feel like his decision-making really improved that first year. We like to see that off the rip. But guess what? In my opinion, I think the second year, his O-line struggled. Larry Tunsil, that's why he got shipped out. I feel like they struggled. They gave him pressure, tons of pressure, to where he wasn't stable and really making sound decisions in the pocket, to where he panics. He steps up when he doesn't have to. He moves around when he doesn't have to, scrambles when he doesn't have to, isn't able to get a clean pocket, make a clean throw. And honestly, I feel like this is carrying into his third year where we saw it in the playoffs. Patriots gave him a damn, even the Steelers, Patriots gave him a damn, absolute insane mastermind of a defense. Not even. They just give him pressure. They just gave him pressure at the end of the day, showed him that, you know what, look, you're going to move in the pocket. Even though he had some pretty good O-line this year, he was unable to really, truly focus in on his own mind. I think it's a mental issue right now with CJ Stroud, and I feel like it's savable, it's salvageable. And that's why I feel like they're on the even playing field just because of ownership and just because of who they've let go, drafted, traded. And honestly, I think CJ Stroud can get back on the wagon if he truly gets past this mental barrier.
Look, obviously, there's a mental barrier. As you mentioned, he gets mega rattled in the pocket. They've truly... That's what I'm saying. Like, at this point in year 3, I feel like they've almost ruined him. Even though it's maybe not on him, it could be on ownership. He's definitely regressed. I mean, he's not the same confident player he was in the pocket. Even when he does have clean pockets, he's still double pump fakes. He second guesses himself. I mean, they've truly, even if it's not his own fault, he has regressed. And look, I don't want to say, look, I'm never going to give someone the edge against Bryce Young because Bryce Young has been on the Panthers. The Panthers are one of the worst organizations. Yes,
it's hard, yes.
They definitely gave him help in the O-line, which is a kudos to the organization knowing what their young quarterback needed. So his O-line improved. And receivers. But look, at the end of the day, I mean, CJ Stroud inherited Nico Collins. We've already discussed top 5 to 7 receiver in the league. Tank Dell.
He's good, yeah.
He's good. Tank Dell. And you know what? On top of all that, what some of you didn't mention, the best defense in the NFL in the Houston Texans, what we had. That defense could have taken almost dang near anyone into a Super Bowl run if they didn't turn the ball over 4 times. That's truly pretty much all on CJ Stroud. I don't want to put too much on the kid. Truly, those turnovers, pretty much all on him. Yes. Mistakes. But look. Let me keep going on this, all right? So look. We have not seen, when CJ Stroud gets rattled, that's when he makes those mistakes. We have seen Bryce Young be rattled since the beginning of his career, and we have seen him step up, even back to Alabama, like I mentioned. These intangibles, clutch factor, stepping up, dealing with pressure. He is good with that. He has more mobility than CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud isn't a dual threat quarterback. He's not. He thrives in the pocket, whereas Bryce Young has a little extra mobility in him. He can move around. I think he even thrives when they get him out of the pocket, and he gets inside, and he has to play make after that. Right. So that's what I think. In my opinion, I'd rather have a Bryce Young right now. He's on the up and up. He has things you can't teach, like mobility and handling pressure. Whereas you're going to have to deal with that as a quarterback, no matter what, especially if you're making a deep playoff run. And you know what? CJ Stroud wasn't given the best hand these past couple of years, but then it was Bryce Young. And I think Bryce Young does more with less, in my opinion, especially because CJ Stroud inherited that amazing Texans defense that he truly ruined this year. He ruined the year for them, in my opinion.
Right. And honestly, look. It's not a crazy thing to say, like, yeah, I would rather take the number 1 overall draft pick in Bryce Young, maybe over the CJ Stroud. Yes, I think it's a hand-in-hand thing. You would rather take, yes, maybe the 1 over the 2 or the 2 over the 1. Yeah, they're very hand-in-hand. They were the top quarterback draft prospects. I think they're very good players, obviously, at the game of professional football. But in my personal opinion, I think it is a developmental issue at the end of the day. They truly haven't given CJ Stroud the pure development that they have with Bryce Young. They were even able to give Bryce Young the bench opportunity. Give him, let me show you the vet status. Let me show you how the vets do it. You get me? Let me show you how the vets do it. We haven't truly had the best offensive
talking
line.
about them benching him for Andy Dalton.
Exactly. For someone with more offensive experience, obviously someone who's probably going to be a better person with a bad O-line, bad receivers. Produce more, obviously. They had Adam Thielen during that, down year. They were able to produce with the vets, obviously. But whenever they would give Bryce Young, the weapons, they have Ted McMillan, like we said, Leggett. They had O-line, like we already said.
McMillan's still a rookie, though. We haven't seen the best of McMillan yet.
1,000+ yard rookie.
We haven't seen McMillan at his best yet.
Truly, exactly. But he is a top, 5 draft pick in this past year.
But we haven't seen him at his best yet. We have not seen him at his best. Whereas I'm pretty sure we've seen Nico at his best at this point.
Well, yes, you could say that. But at the end of the day, he was injured against the Patriots. So who knows how that could have gone if, CJ Stroud had his top tier weapon. But at the end of the day, I feel like it is a developmental issue. I feel like, like you said, Bryce Young has these abilities to, roll out. He has these things that differ from CJ Stroud, which is why he was drafted. He's a playmaker. playmaker. C.J. Stroud, yes, he is visionary. He can see the field general. He's taller. You can't teach that. You can't teach tallness. He has the height for a reason. He could see over his O-line. He's gifted throwing. He could really distribute the ball. And that's different from Bryce Young. And I feel like that's why you can't truly say, I think it's a 50-50. Look, personally, I think it's a 50-50.
Okay, so you're not saying valid or invalid. You're just saying it's 50-50.
I'm going to
I can respect that.
Yes, exactly.
I can respect that. But I just think it's a testament to how good C.J. Stroud has been and how bad, how good Bryce Young has been and how bad C.J. Stroud has been. Because the polar opposites they were finishing their rookie season. Truly how separated they were. It was
bad.
And they're I would say they're about maybe equal now, which I can't argue against. I'd say they're probably around equal. I'm not saying Bryce Young's a top 5 guy, but at the end of the day, I think Bryce Young's a better thrower than C.J. Stroud. And his mobility, again, you can't teach mobility, whereas Bryce Young has that natural ability. Height's the one thing that hinders him, but, we saw Drew Brees win a Super Bowl at about 6 foot flat.
Drew Brees.
Hey, look, Bryce Young is Bryce Young. He's nice. He's cerebral. He will drop back about 5 steps, and he will dice up a defense. He figures out how to make it. There's a reason he's the number 1 overall pick. He dices people up. He steps up in big moments. So, for you to say equal, I can agree on that. I can finish out on that one before we go even further because I think they're about equal. But in my opinion, as an organization, I'm probably putting my chips more into Bryce Young than C.J. Stroud at this point, if I'm an organization, in my opinion.
Honestly, go for it. Put your chips on the number 1 overall draft pick. Go for it, bro. I totally agree with you. In that sense, honestly, we can end it off on that. But that was a fire little valid and invalid take.
I guess.
You got this next one going up.
All right.
Go for
my
it.
last one. I know you already read it here, so I'm interested in seeing what you said.
Go for it, G.
So, number 1 overall draft pick obviously has the expectations to turn around an NBA franchise, right?
Right.
And usually, team that has a number 1 overall pick is usually a bad franchise. Fortunately for the Spurs, they're a good franchise, and they just so happen to land the number 1 pick with a generational prospect on the board. A little rigged, maybe. But
who knows?
At the end of the day, there's some other organizations who aren't as historic as the Spurs, aren't as coherent, aren't the greatest, such as the Pistons. So, I just want to see, invalid or invalid, Cade Cunningham has been the better number 1 overall pick than Wemby up to this point. I say that because, I've lamented on Wemby. I've said what I think about him. I think he's not too great in the clutch. I think he's been too injured, and I think he's kind of, been helped by the organization of the Spurs and their stability. Whereas Cade was thrown into a lot more of a fire. Pistons, honestly, one of the worst organizations in the league throughout my entire lifetime.
Right.
And he brought them to what they are right now, which is the number 1 seed in the East, really elevating them, being one of the best perimeter defenders, averaging, 27 and 10 currently. So one of the best offensive players. Definitely like a top 3 defensive player for a guard at the same time. And again, bringing his team to number 1. Whereas Wemby hasn't met, number 3, definitely development. But I think it might be more of a system of the organization he's drafted to and maybe not stepping up to the level of a Cade Cunningham.
Okay. Off the rip, valid or invalid? Give me invalid. There's no way you truly believe that Cade Cunningham is a better all-time player currently.
I'm 0 for 3.
Then, yes. No. And I'm not, like I said already, I'm not disagreeing just to disagree. I personally feel like Wemby is by far the better draft pick, the better draft option, the better all-time player currently than Cade Cunningham. We were talking about right here, we have...
just click OK.
Okay. We have Cade Cunningham being 24, and he has yet to, truly show... yes, he showed promise this season, maybe a tad promise last season, but honestly, this is 3 years down the line. You said Wemby would be a disappointment if he didn't get to a chip by 3 years.
Different organizations.
Pistons are not anywhere near that.
They're the first seed.
I totally agree with you. And look, guess what? I think Cade being better than Wemby is a trash take because of this. If you put Wemby on the Pistons, I think they're able to build around him way better and get to that position of a Western Conference chip or a Western Conference dub, or maybe even a playoff finals dub. I'm sorry.
Look, Cade, I think the Pistons are probably going to make the finals in the East. Who else is competing in the East to this point?
Okay.
I think Cade and the Pistons will probably make it out of the East this year. You know what? You laugh, but at the same time, last year anyone would have laughed. I told you, I wish I had the pod at the time. I told you Tyrese was next up last year. I predicted that one. That's probably one of my best predictions. That Tyrese was next up, and you know what? They made a run all the way to Game 7 of the championship game. I'm predicting the same thing for the Pistons right now. People might scoff, but the Pistons are on top of it right now. They have good coaching, and they're being elevated by Cade Cunningham, one of the best players in the league, in my opinion. Again, stats 27-10, which is great, but what he's doing on the defensive side, you can't just put that on the stat sheet. So I think he's truly elevating his team. And again, Pistons are a completely different franchise from the Spurs. We talk about A tier franchise. probably I'd say A tier because the S tier are going to be the Celtics and the Lakers, but below that you'd have the Spurs.
Very close.
Very close. But definitely one of the most respectable, consistent franchise. Whereas, I mean, the Pistons have their run with the Bad Boys, the Bad Boy Pistons.
Right, they're not a bad franchise.
Early 2000s. But, like I said, my whole entire lifetime, I was born in 2003. Pretty much they've been horrible since my conception, really, truly, at the end of the day. For at least for my consciousness, they've been bad pretty much every single year besides like one Blake Griffin year. So for what Cade Cunningham has done for the franchise against number one in the East, I think no one can compete with them this year in the East, and they truly will make a finals run. I'm pretty sure he's going to make the finals at age 24, which, again, if Wemby doesn't do it by that point, he's not better than Cade because he was put in a way better situation with the Spurs, with a way deeper team, way better organized than Cade, in my opinion.
Look, honestly, I have multiple takes on that. Personally, off the rip, I genuinely think that the Pistons are honestly okay. If they were to go to the finals this year, it is a Mickey Mouse run. Off the rip, we have a Jason Tatum-less Celtics team. We have a Tyrese not being able to play with the Pacers, even though they're 14th seed. We have the Raptors, Mickey Mouse. Come on, bro. We have the Knicks. Okay. They're a good team. I personally think that they're probably one of the better teams in the Eastern Conference. Probably one of my favorites to go there. Even then, I think the Celtics are a very good team. Even without a Jason Tatum, he might come back. Who knows? But even then, I think the Pistons are a very inexperienced team. I think for you to say that Wemby is truly not the better player than Cade all around is crazy to say. I think, like you said, 27 and 10, I believe you said, for Cade. They're great stats, but guess what? The Pistons don't have a scoring offensive piece. They need a scorer. And guess what? Who is that? Cade Cunningham. That's who is the scorer. And so that's why he takes all the points. I totally see why he has those type of stats. But guess what? Wemby is spread out. We've seen the Spurs. We've seen how they play. They're an organization who spreads the rock around, spreads the points around. We have multiple. We talked about this before. They have 8 plus 10-point players. They're able to really score the ball around very nicely. They don't need Wemby to score 25 plus. They never needed Tim Duncan, 5 rings, by the way, to get more than 20 points a game. Genuinely. And so to say that Cade's better because he has more points is interesting to say. I personally think that give Wemby 3 years, he's getting up to 25 points. I think he's getting up to 25 points with 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 blocks. That's way better than Cade in 3 years. And honestly, as of right now, I still go with Wemby because we don't need Wemby to score this amount of points. We need him to produce some points on the offensive end. We need him to produce what he has been doing on the defensive end. And honestly, we need him to lead the team. And that's what he's been doing. And personally, I feel like that's why he's better than Cade.
Look, I truly don't think, you can say it on paper, but watching the game, Wemby turns up every now and then. He does.
Yeah.
Truly, again, I think Wemby is just a piece of the bigger Spurs puzzle.
He's a little raw. Offensively, he's raw right now.
He's a piece of the bigger Spurs puzzle at the end of the day for me, whereas Cade has had to take on a lot more than Wemby. He has had to put a lot more on his shoulders, something more that a typical number 1 overall draft pick would have to do. Because, again, they're usually drafted into bad organizations, whereas Wemby was drafted into an excellent organization.
Well, that's something to say. Personally, I feel like the Spurs weren't excellent at the time. They hadn't made the playoffs since 2019.
But Wemby was
drafted in, 2022?
They were building. They were acquiring picks. They had young players.
Course. They're a good organization. I agree with that. They're good ownership. They know how to build around, guess what? A 7'5" generational talent.
Who wouldn't be able to?
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. That's why I feel
Run Dunkman 2.0.
No, I feel
Run Dunkman 2.0.
You can say that, but that's why he is the better player than Cade. Because guess what? You can easily build a team around him in a short span. You can easily get to, out of garbage time, as we've seen the Spurs do. They are in finals contention, in my personal opinion, because of Wemby's caliber of player. And personally, Cade, you would have been stuck in garbage hell right now. You truly would have. And honestly, we've seen the Pistons build. We've seen Cade excel. They are currently number 1 in the East for a reason. I have lots of respect for Cade and the Pistons, Cade and them. And truly, him being 24 and doing what he's doing right now is honestly insane to see. Very happy to see that. I like Cade. But to say he's better than Wemby at 21 compared to 24 is crazy to say, but
it's just 3 years at the end of the day. But look,
3 years.
Look, you're gonna disagree with me on this one. You're gonna say invalid on this one. But look, that's your Spurs bias. I truly think Cade has had to take more of a burden playing for the Pistons. That's what I think at the end of the day. And look, they're going to make a finals run. Will they win it? I don't know.
You said they'll make a finals run.
They'll make a finals run. They're going to make it out of the East. The Pistons will make it out of the East. They will make it past the Knicks. That doesn't be impressive, by the way. If the Pistons, after being in hell for such a long time, can make it past the Knicks, who seem to be next up.
Look, I'm going to interrupt you really quick. Personally, just to respond to you, because I'm probably going to forget. I personally think, I'm going to say it right here, the Pistons, looking at the seeding right now, if they were to play the 8th seed as Miami Heat, I think the Miami Heat are beating the Detroit Pistons. And look, hear me out. Like I said already, the Pistons are not experienced. They lost a Knicks team, yes, last year against the same experience level of Knicks. The Jalen Brunson hasn't been, probably the same amount as Cade Cunningham. I feel like they were the same level of team, and they still lost 4-2 against the Knicks. There are ways to go. Yes, Cade Cunningham has stepped up as a scorer, okay? But guess what? I personally feel like a Miami Heat, a well-coached team, yes, they still have Hero. They have Adebayo. They have a deep bench. And honestly, who knows? They might push a trade maybe. I'm not even going to go into that hypothetical. But as of right now, I personally feel like the Miami Heat will best the number 1 seeded Pistons, and just because of experience. I'm saying that right now on the pod. We'll see in a couple months, but that's what I got to say.
So, I'm not going to lie. This is my valid or invalid. And you said invalid. I'm calling invalid on that the Miami Heat would beat the Pistons. Mad invalid. You know what?
Why?
They have experience now. The Pistons do. You just mentioned they went to a deep playoff run.
Deep
against
second round.
Against the Knicks. That's all it takes. I mean, that's all the freaking Thunder needed before they won a championship. They made it to the second round and got bounced against other playoff
different.
Team. What do you mean that's different?
MVP caliber player of Shea before the season. Cade right now currently isn't an MVP caliber player.
Yes, he could be.
But he's not.
He's dang near right there. He's pretty
close,
much right near.
But he's not.
He's right there. Dude,
so you're saying that, the Pistons next year would be good?
I'm saying right now they could be good. I'm saying right now they are good.
You just said that Shea was bounced out and they're in the second round.
Yeah, and then, the Pistons just got bounced out in the second round. So I'm saying they gain their experience. Okay. They know how to play the game. Okay. It's not like it's like their first rodeo. They're coming back after last year. They know how to play. And again, like you said, I think a weaker Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
So, I mean, would it be a crazy run to make? Maybe not, but nonetheless, it'd still be impressive for the Pistons to make it out of the East, which I think they will do. But that's all I have to say about that. Do you have anything to say about that?
Truly, I have nothing else to say about
all right, this. I guess apparently I went 0 for 3 on my valid and invalid takes.
No, they're close, but we'll see.
Look,
we'll have to wait to see.
If y'all like the takes, let me know. We'll try to come back with 3 more. But these have been on my mind for a bit. A little bit of harder takes. I just want to see what Roy had to say about them. But yeah, anything to say about that? Or good to go?
Please let us know what y'all think about them.
Please.
Y'all heard mine.
Please.
Y'all heard my thoughts on that. I want to hear y'all's thoughts. Drop it in the comments below. That's all I got to say about that, though.
But we're going to take a quick little break.
The show.
And we are back. And you know what, gang? We're going to have to finish this one off a little bit faster. We do have a poppin' fan section, which we're excited to get into. But fun story. We were about to take a little bathroom break. Went out there. Police said, got your pass. No, we do not. So, he gave us a grace. Very chill cop. Said we can finish up in the next 5-10 minutes. So, we're going to do our best we can to finish this up. We've already been going for a minute.
Very chill cop. Shout out UIW police.
Shout out
UIW's just everyone being so friendly and chill.
It's like my second week here. You know what? I love it at UIW. I said at UT, I think I'd be,
shout out. Hey, throw it up.
I'll throw up the bird. Birds up. Truly.
Birds up.
But look. Shout out UIW. Very chill police. Thank you so much. But we'll finish this up out of respect for UIW. For police. Let's get this going, though. All right. Fan section, you know what? It was popping. It was absolutely popping this time. So thank y'all, anyone who commented on there. But we'll get straight into
my favorite section.
We got Bert. God. All right, he said, man, how many of these are actually about sport? I think that none of these are actually about sport.
Shoot him.
Shoot him. All right.
Just shoot him.
He said, Bert says, Joanne, if you ever step foot into Rafa's Cafe, your nipples will be met with 4,000 volts.
Okay, first off, what is Rafa's Cafe?
I have no idea. Truly, I have no idea.
I truly never heard of that.
Look, I've never heard of Rafa's Cafe. Now that I've heard about it, I'll make sure to keep an eye out because I do not want 4,000 volts shot into my 40,000 volts into my nipples. I do not want it. So I won't be there. I truly won't be there.
Look, personally, if we do step into Rafa's Cafe and Joanne gets 40,000 volts to his nipples, I will be recording for BJ Nation. I promise I will be. But please. Shout out Bert.
I don't know who will be doing this. I don't know if it would be Bert, a mercenary, Rafa's Cafe themselves. But please, if I want to indulge in the delectable deliciousness of Rafa's Cafe, do not shoot 40,000 volts into my nipples.
Bird's gatekeeping.
I
want to know what Rafa's Cafe has.
Truly, it might be that good. But all right. Bert, what the hell? We'll move on to the next one. We got Audrey, a big FTP, friend of the pod, always commenting. She says, if the cuts aren't AI, y'all look great. Thank you, Audrey. Obviously, they were AI. We still got our hair right here. But, I've been thinking about it. I think after grad photos, I might just go for the new look. I might hit it. We'll see.
Maybe.
We'll see.
I want to see that. If you do it, I might have to be obligated to do it for BG Nation. We got to both look the same.
Would I pull? Let me know. Let me know. Why are you laughing?
I want to know, too. I want to know. I truly want to know the fan section thinks about that. Let me know. Let him know.
Where my hug at? Let me know. But look, all right, we'll keep it going. Joris be telling the first time he's been on here. You want to give a little shout out to him?
Shout out my boy Joris, bro. We live in Joris. Isn't that crazy?
He might own the building. Joris. Shout out Joris. But look, he says, kind of know what he means, but ACL injury, Jimmy Butler.
Okay. I think it. I saw it. I think it's multiple parts. Off the rip, we can talk about it.
Jimmy Butler ACL injury.
Look, shout out Joris. He's a Warriors fan.
Bandwagon.
Rip Warriors. Without Jimmy Butler, personally, I think they're cooked. I think they're cooked.
They're cooked.
Look, first off, Joris was talking to me about it, and honestly, I'm a big avid Flight Reacts fan.
You are.
I love Flight Reacts. Guess what? Flight Reacts is one of the biggest Warriors fans I know. So is Joris. They both said the same thing about Jimmy Butler. He might not, be able to come back from this. He truly might have to retire because of his ACL injury. And honestly, I agree. I see it.
At this age?
He's old. Yeah. He's old. And honestly, it's heartbreaking to see. Jimmy Butler is a hooper. He thrives off of physicality, off his, grittiness. And honestly, you have to have a, pretty physical body to do that. He just tore his ACL.
Intact ACL, at least.
Exactly. It's sad to see, but he might be cooked.
Real ones, honestly, obviously, Jimmy Butler will not go down as one of the greatest players in NBA history. But for real ones, if you watched him play, especially on the Heat, those 2 finals runs he went to, obviously he didn't win, but you know how physical he is. You know how much of a love for the game he has and how great he was for the game. So shout out Jimmy Butler if he doesn't play again.
Sad to see.
I will personally always remember him. I don't know about the rest of the NBA in terms of history. But sad for the Warriors as well, and they will not make it very far without him.
Yeah.
After that, he put Quinton Post.
Yes, he did put Quinton Post. I saw that. So basically, guess what? Quinton Post. Can you guess his nationality?
He's Danish.
No, bro. So actually, he's Dutch. He's from the Netherlands. And guess what? Joris is also from the Netherlands.
Are we international?
Shout out. Yes, that's exactly what I was going to say. We are global. BG Nation is kind of turning global. Shout out Quinton Post. Shout out my boy Joris. But
shout out Netherlands.
Exactly. Shout out Netherlands. Anyone who's possibly watching over there. Maybe, Joris' fam. Who knows? But honestly, I think Quinton Post, my over thoughts on him?
Michu? Yeah.
Michu.
That's all right.
He's in the sophomore season. Honestly, he's a shooter. He can shoot here and there. But personally, he's always getting dunked on. He's not that reliable on defense. And honestly, his offensive game doesn't make up for his defensive, lacklusterness. But
post guy. Exactly. All right. We got a lot more to go through, so we're going to have to go a little fast. But Joris finishes off by saying 3x3, happy face.
3v3, yes. I think he means 3v3 basketball.
Do you beat him 1v1?
What's up?
Do you beat him 1v1?
Look, I'm going to keep it a buck.
Oh, I've heard
I'm going to put my ego aside. Joris is probably cooking my taint in a 1v1. He is a 6'4" phenom. He is a top 20 Netherlands player. He was on the squad.
That might be top 1,000 in the U.S.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. I am personally not a top 1,000 player. I am not a top 20 Netherlands player. I'm not anywhere. I'm a street hooper. But,
all right.
Shout out Joris. I think he meant like 3v3, national, FIBA,
there we go.
Olympic level.
Right, there we go.
Shout out NBA or shout out.
Oh, he wanted us to talk about it a bit.
Yes.
You know what? Let's write that for next episode. Just
of course, we definitely can. No, we definitely can. That is a good one. We definitely have our takes on that, but we could definitely get to the next one.
Sorry about that, Joris. We did have to cut it short. Uncut Matt, he said, I just want Roy Bald Santa. Is it going to happen?
I just want Roy Bald Santa. So
he's asking Santa.
I'm pretty sure he's asking Santa for me to go bald. Honestly,
one day,
maybe his wish might get brought to life. Who knows?
35 likes. We'll keep it going. We'll try it again. Part 2. We'll try it again.
We'll see about that.
All right, Freddie R. Can you stop harassing my friends that are freshmen, please? He's obviously talking about college freshmen. I don't know what he's talking about.
I hope he's talking about that.
He's definitely talking about college freshmen.
Freddie, as in Frederick, as in Junior, who is in high school, as in the high schooler, as in...
He's trolling. He's trolling.
I hope he's trolling, but if he isn't, trolling. My co-host might be in some hot water.
Gang, don't even put that upon me.
I'm not.
Don't even put that upon me. What the hell?
I'm not.
His brother hit us with 2 takes after that. His brother Matthew Rodriguez hits part 1. What are the co-hosts? What are the co-stars?
Okay.
What are the co-stars take on producer G not paying on wages? Inexcusable. We are big men of values, morals. Big moral guy. Man of many morals, some call me, actually.
Mom.
Man of many morals. Mom.
They be calling bro mom.
Man of many morals. They do call me that. So I think it's completely inexcusable. Hit me up on that. We might have to tie the producer G if that's truly the thing.
Like, Matt knows my thoughts on producer G. He's obviously rage baiting. Honestly, producer G, you are cut.
Ooh.
Yes, cut from BG Nation. You are not welcome back until you pay up your debt, my boy.
Ooh.
Because guess what? I felt disrespected. BG Nation felt disrespected. And obviously, it is trickling down.
We don't want that on our name.
I'm getting damn comments about it.
Wow.
And honestly, I don't appreciate it.
BG
Nation, I know. Look, we are mans of our word.
Men of many morals.
Yes, we don't play around about that. We would have cut our damn head. We would have shaved our head if we got 35 likes.
We would have.
But guess what? Y'all didn't come through, so we didn't. But all in all, BG Nation, screw producer G. That's it. I don't give a damn. I'm providing hate right now. This is pure hate fuel. That's all I got to say on that, Matt. You got me with that, Matt. Right. Matt, you got me with that, bro.
So Matt had a good one. They follows it up by part 2. Okay. Is this unreliability something we can accept from the Baker's Gold community?
I just answered that.
No.
Heavens no. Heavens no. Because truly, we would have came through. You know, producer G didn't. Me and Joanne, me and producer Jay, me and co-host Jay would have definitely came through.
Co-star.
But
yeah. All right. Hedry. Freaking Hedry. Shout out Hedry. I don't even know if you follow us.
My boy Hedry.
Love you, Hedry. It's been a big minute. Episode where you guys just kissed the whole time. When?
Well,
we'll put 40 likes on that one.
Look.
We'll put 40 likes on that one.
If you want to put 40 likes, put it. But
40 likes and we just kiss the whole epi. Men of our word, by the way.
We are men of our word. But I'm going to keep it a buck, bro. We've been... Holy moly. I don't even know if I want to say this, but we've been receiving a lot of comments.
We have.
I've been receiving a lot of IRL comments from specific people saying, you know, we might need to go Brokeback Mountain with it.
No,
No, I'm not saying I agree or disagree with. I'm not saying that. But these comments are... Why are y'all saying this? We are a sports entertainment podcast. Let me say it again. Sports entertainment podcast. We do not personally want to dive into the other side of talk.
He's a married man, damn near
married man. And honestly, Joanne, I'm not.
We can move on.
I'm not gonna say nothing else. I'm not gonna say nothing else on that.
But all right, speaking on it, we got Gianna. Shout out Gianna. She says, "Why are you bald?" We're not. We still have our hair. Hope you liked how it looked bald, because hopefully soon that will be the look. But we're not bald, Gianna. We still got hair. Come feel it yourself. There's still hair there. There's still hair there at the end of the day. But we're not bald. You got tricked by AI. Bald. You got tricked by AI, genuinely, at the end of the day. Yaneli, speak of the wife.
Yes.
Back to back. She says, can y'all do the Spurs' new win tradition? Boom, boom, clap, boom, boom, clap, boom.
I think she's talking about the drum tradition.
How does it go?
You want to do it right now?
Real quick. For her.
No, you have to repeat me.
Okay.
We're chopped. We're chopped as hell.
That's a chopped tradition in general.
I truly think, right there, it was chopped. But I think what we do need, me and you, we've been talking about it, having props on our setup. We need a mini drum right here.
That's fire.
We need a mini drum right here.
Fire.
At the end of the epi, we'll go boom, 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 boom.
That's fire.
That would be cool.
Mini drum.
Let us know in the comments down below. Yaneli, I appreciate it. Wifey, I appreciate the comment. Let us know in the comment. I'm not Mikey saying that shit. I'm not Mikey saying that. All right. Don't get me twisted with that.
All right. She leaves another one. She says, also drive Rogelio safe. Obviously.
Yes, Ice Storm.
Yaneli,
Mickey Mouse Ice Storm.
Mickey Mouse Ice Storm. But we appreciate you. Appreciate you giving me Roy for the Fridays. We do this for the pod.
Yes, sir.
Hey, pod family. Big shout out to Yaneli. She mother pod, bro. Like, she's Roy's
She helped us out in the beginning as well.
Exactly.
Very, very clutch.
She's truly one of the biggest FTPs. So shout out Yaneli for lending me Roy for the pod. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Oh my God. And Matt ended off with
Matt again.
He says,
let's hear it.
Guyona.
Matt Guyona. Okay. Shout out Matt.
Roy and Joanne sex? ? No, and we're gonna finish that on that.
I don't get it.
I don't get it. I truly don't get where this is coming from. But look, whatever. No, obviously not.
Heavens
no. But look, all right, we're at 11 minutes. We're gonna wrap it up. Don't want the police coming down at the door, escorting us out. We'd rather leave on peaceful terms.
That would be a clip.
That would be a clip. Truly, clip farm at the end of the day. But look, we appreciate y'all. Back in the stew. We'll get it past next time so I'll have this little restriction. We do got to finish it up. Any words for the fans?
Shout out UIW. Make sure y'all like, share, subscribe. I love y'all. I definitely do.
It's been a good
That's all I got. Very great epi. I just
I'm
appreciate y'all. I
I'm
truly
happy.
do.
Dude, I love doing this at the end of every week. I truly look forward to it.
Show, bro.
It's fun for us. We just go and go. We appreciate anyone out there listening to us. Again, Hot Rod, Rodney, French.
Shout out, French. Yep. Shout out, bro.
You know, subscribe if you haven't. It goes a long way. Helps us out a lot. Subscribe. Leave a like. We appreciate the feedback. Leave a comment. Share with anyone you might know. That's pretty much it. Anything else
Yes,
for us,
sir.
Roy?
That wraps it up for me.
Birds up.
See y'all,
You, Stu.
BG Nation.
Let us know, and we're out.
Yes, sir.
See ya.